take my socks off. I hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody.
Introducing Crystal Flush. Crystal Flush is the only FDA-registered 2-in-1 home.
ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig broadcasting live for the 97.3 ESPN Studios, 97.3 ESPN FM. We are streaming live as always on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. We got a busy show coming up today as we got a lot to get to. Eagles, NFL. You know, there has been news going on this week. We got to get into that coming up on the show. Plus, the Ivy Rehab injury report as always. What on earth is going on with Orion Kerkering's hamstring? We'll get into that coming up on the show. Plus, we'll get closer and look at the Phillies with Matt Gelb from The Athletic, and Eagles and NFL conversation with Rob Maaddi coming up at 12:25. And as always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. As I had a bit of a surprise this morning when I walked in the studio. Alex Berardis is actually here. How you doing?
Doing good. I am doing very good. I'm just waiting for this weather to turn around. I'm getting real sick and tired of this cold weather. I need summer here like now.
Well, that's you and everybody else.
Yeah,
That's half a brain.
That damn groundhog, whatever the hell it is. Come on, let's get this winter stuff out of the way. I need warm weather. I need to be at a beach really soon.
Well, it's good to see you, even though I had no idea you were going to be here today.
A little miscommunication there.
Definitely a miscommunication. Yeah, it's typically in my experience, for those who don't know, I am the kind of person, if I don't know, I don't know, and then if I have to find out, I pivot. So we pivoted today. We're pivoting today. Alex is here for the show today. He don't got the lacrosse thing going on today at Mainland, which apparently, according to Fran McLaughlin, you're fully to credit for their success.
Yeah, I don't know if I can take the full credit there, but we did get a huge 18-1 victory against Lower Cape May yesterday. So I don't know if that's all directed to me, but hey, if Fran's going to put it on me, I'll take the credit there. Only when we get the wins, though.
So, as always, folks, to join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Oh, that's some interesting news. Well, the Phillies will not be facing Jacob deGrom today. So, neck stiffness. See, can I just say something really quick? This is why when certain players start getting injured, you just can't trust them anymore. You can't trust deGrom to be healthy anymore. like all these people came into this weekend being like, did you see who the Phillies are facing on their pitching staff for the Rangers? And it's like, first of all, I don't care who you're facing because I don't know if you realize, but you can win 2-1, 1-0, 3-1. Doesn't really matter who their starting pitcher is. Starting pitcher can have a great day, go 8 innings, give up 2 runs, you can still win the game 2-1. Second of all, guys like DeGrom, I mean, he is turning into, you know what he's like? He's like a basketball player, like Joel Embiid. He can't stay healthy. That's who DeGrom is. Does Alex even know who Jacob DeGrom is?
Of course I know who Jacob DeGrom is.
Don't worry, we got some Sixers and Flyers stuff to get to, but I do want to start off with the Phillies off the top of the show here, because one of the things is, and interesting that the DeGrom news came out. Watching the game, the first game of the season on Thursday, my biggest takeaway, Alex, was I think the Phillies are in for a very interesting year. This is going to be a roller coaster ride for 161 games left. And part of that roller coaster ride is going to be 2 parts. Number one, it's going to be an adventure every time they go to the bullpen. Not because the bullpen is bad, but because of the fact that there's a lot of unknown variables. I mean, we heard about Kyle Backus all spring training long. Every Philly social media post was about how great and fun and cool he is. And all the guys were like, he's so hard to hit. And then what happens? Jake Berger lights his you-know-what up.
That was a shot.
That was a bomb. And there's a part of me watching him thinking, see, this is what we get when we're sold a team instead of given a team. And here's what I mean by that. The Phillies organization has gone out of their way to tell all the Phillies fans, we have a good team. We have a good team. We're not running it back. We have a good team. But yet, when I go out there and watch the team, they are running it back. They didn't have to re-sign JT Realmuto, but they did. They didn't have to go into the season with the Brandon Marsh, Otto Kemp platoon, but they are. They didn't have to stick with Bohm at third and Stott at second, but they did. And to the pitching staff, they are committed to the idea that their starting rotation at some point is going to be Sanchez, Wheeler, Luzardo, Nola, Painter. And Taijuan Walker is here just in case you need him. They are committed to that. And frankly, there's nobody in the minor league system who's going to come up here and save your you-know-what. There ain't no Mick Abel walking through that door or someone like that to come up here and save you if we have a bunch of injuries. So I think, Alex, one of the things that we are going to be dealing with, and I'm warning every Phillies fan, you got to be prepared for the reality that this is going to be a year where you are just going to have to accept that these players are going to make or break your summer.
I've been trying to stay as even keel as I could. I've been out here saying, I'm just waiting to October, and that's when my emotions are going to run high. Now, I know that's not true. I know there's going to be a Thursday night in July where I'm pulling my hair out because of a game that's going on. But the whole running it back thing, we did. I think we are going to go into another trade deadline this year where we are saying we need a right-handed bat because we didn't bring.
Because we do.
Yeah, we didn't address that for 3 years in a row now. We have not addressed that need. I think the bullpen's fine. That was a day one Backus. we're scrapping that. We're throwing it in the trash. That was a 2 days ago problem. We're moving forward. I'm just concerned with these bats. I think we had the best starting rotation in baseball. Bullpen got better, we think. I'm still going to say that it did. I'm not going to write us out yet.
Oh, it definitely did. You're right about that.
Yeah. I think we saw we got the best out of Matt Strahm that we got. If we would have kept him, I think we would have seen a worse version of him. So I think all those moves were great. But it's the same lineup that we've had for 4 straight years, except for Adolis Garcia. But Justin Crawford is a nice addition. We think. One day is not going to say it all. But I do agree. There's going to be games where you're looking at this lineup saying they can't get it done with this team. And then the very next night, you're going to say, this is a World Series caliber roster. It's just how this team's going to go. If they go out at the trade deadline and they bring in a right-handed bat, I'll be so much more bought in than I am right now. Not saying that I'm out, but I've seen this story year after year after year. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing again and again and expecting
a different result. Yep. Exactly. That is literally the Philadelphia Phillies, offensively. Going into last postseason, personally, I know a lot of people were with me on this, we weren't worried about the bullpen. Well, the bullpen, I mean the starters. We knew what we were going to get out of Christopher Sanchez. We knew Luzardo was a very good number 2. Nola, we had some question marks with, but they showed up. 2 years ago against the Mets, Wheeler threw 1 run. He gave up 1 run. What game was that? Game 1?
I think it was game 1, yeah. And then Sanchez pitched great in game 2.
And the bats couldn't do anything to support their pitchers out.
And that's been the problem for 3-4 years now.
That is just what has to happen. I'm going to sound like Dave Dombrowski here, where we just got to hope and pray that they get hot at the right time. Because that's what the position that he's put us in.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when people, like on ESPN's Get Up, Jessica Mendoza on national television, put this kind of pressure on the Phillies when asked, who is the one team that can put a stop to the Dodgers dynasty?
In the National League, which team do you think gives them the toughest fight? Who could knock them off?
Philadelphia Phillies. And I don't think just the National League. I think, honestly, in all of baseball. Because I think if the Dodgers are to not win a World Series, it's going to happen before they get to the World Series. And it'd be the Phillies are the top contending team. I thought this way last postseason. They went in and ended up beating the Phillies. But you look at this lineup, again, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner. What I get the most excited about is their pitching staff, though. Their starting rotation, when healthy, always the biggest if, right? Jesus Luzardo, what they've been able to get him back in the mix. Christopher Sanchez, are you kidding me? The filth that he throws is absolutely ridiculous. And then they're getting Zach Wheeler back. I mean, this is an exciting Phillies team.
And nothing that she said is wrong. Nothing she said is like extreme or wild or weird. You know, she ain't like a Ruben Amaro Jr. predicting Alec Boehm's going to be a top 5 MVP vote getter this year. But it's expectations like hers and others that create this dynamic as a Philadelphia sports fan where you get your hopes up. You see Alec Boehm hit that, Alec Boehm hit that blast, right? And you're like, maybe Boehm is going to have a good year. You see the game leading off with Kyle Schwarber hitting that home run. You're like, Schwarber, another year, more Schwarber bombs. You know, you get excited, right? You see Sanchez carve up the Rangers for 6 innings, and you're like, hey, we're back. And then you see the guy that Dave Dombrowski mentioned about 50 times, it should have been a drinking game this offseason, Jonathan Boland. I had to hear his name 200 times this offseason. Could have been a great drinking game, get us all drunk, right? And so, but he came in and he did his job. So, like, you see the pieces, you see what Jessica Mendoza and other people are talking about, you know, what the guys on Foul Territory, like the Brzezinskis and others, talk about how they are all very high on this team. But the problem is, as you mentioned, Alex, no one in Philadelphia is worried about the 162. We're worried about October. That is where the Phillies are playing with fire. Because, Alex, if the Phillies don't win this year, they are going to be the Sixers. They are going to be the team that goes to the postseason and people tune out because they know it's a fait accompli that they're just going to let you down again.
And not for nothing, but until they show otherwise, this whole Red October, bedlam at the bank's the hardest place to play in. It can be. The guys on the field just have to prove it. Since Game 6 and Game 7 against the Arizona Diamondbacks, which they lost both games at home, just needed to win one. They didn't need to win both. They just needed to win one of them. The bank has lost that mystique. It's lost. It seems as though they feel the pressure being at home, knowing they have to show up at home. And when you have guys like Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, the showman Bryce Harper, those are the guys that are supposed to thrive under the pressure. Am I wrong?
That's where it's weird because, like, baseball is such a mental game more than anything else. I've always said that the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. By the way, Josh Hennig here, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Berard is joining me as we broadcast live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios at Josh Hennig at 973 ESPN on the platforms. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. We know what, and you can name them all, right? Harper, Schwarber, Turner. You want to throw in there Adolis Garcia because of his postseason experience? Sure. JT Realmuto, Alec Boehm's capable of, right? We know what these guys can do. And by the way, they have done it at times. It's not like this whole team is full of a bunch of like failures, right? This team has people who have stepped up in big moments in the postseason, but they don't do it consistently, Alex. That's what's frustrating.
I've never seen a lineup, a complete lineup 1 through 9 that can just go so cold at the exact same time.
Do you buy into this narrative coming out of spring training? We'll get to Dan EHC and other texts in just a minute at 609-403-0973. Do you buy into this narrative that the Phillies are going to take a more disciplined approach? That like guys like Bryce Harper and others have said they're buying into the new approach this season. They're going to try to take more pitches and they're going to try to be more disciplined and less boom or bust. Like, do you buy into the idea that they are actually going to follow through with that?
Well, not having Castellanos helps that because I actually saw...
You see him strike out last night?
Yeah, that was to end the game. Low and away, swinging away.
Just swinging it like he always does.
But isn't this what Coach Long, the hitting coach, has been saying was going to happen for 3-4 years now? And then we keep bringing him back and we keep bringing the same things back. I got to see it. I'm at the point with this team. Talk is talk.
Talk is cheap.
Yeah, talk is cheap. Talk is whatever you want. I just got to see it. I got to see it to believe it. And I think it's there. I hope that Bryce Harper, specifically Bryce Harper, isn't getting a little too he has to prove it to himself kind of thing. I feel like there were many times in the World Baseball Classic and just last year as a whole, you saw him just have that mindset where you knew he was swinging here no matter what because he wanted that home run to win us the game rather than we have a runner on second base. Let me just get it.
Well,
in
like for
play.
example, just to interrupt you, but like yesterday is a perfect example. I don't know if you saw any of the Diamondbacks-Dodgers game. Did you see any of that last night? Okay, so there was a man on second. The Dodgers were losing last night at one point. And the broadcasters joked, like all who were calling the game. They were like, wouldn't it be hilarious if Shohei Ohtani just like, hits like a sacrifice over here to move the guy over? And wouldn't you know it, Shohei Ohtani literally hits the ball where the fielders are not, so the runner from second can go to third. And Ohtani gets thrown out at first. The very next pitch is a home run. Dodgers have a 3-2 or 4-2 lead or whatever it was. And I'm just thinking, like, this is the difference between the Dodgers and the Phillies. Shohei Ohtani, I think we all can agree, is probably the best player in baseball at this point, right?
Yes.
That dude said, I am going to not try to make the game-winning hit. I'm going to let this guy go from second to third and let the next guy drive him in. Like, that's the kind of unselfishness that you're talking about, Alex. You want to see that from Harper. You want to see that from Boehm and Realmuto and these guys to be like, hey, it's not my job to maybe bring this guy in if I'm not in a position to do it. So I'll let somebody else do it.
It's always that first pitch with Harper too. You see when he steps into the box, bottom 7, 2 outs, runners on third, down by a run. He's hacking that first pitch every time. And usually it's a whiff because he's just he has an aggressive swing to begin with.
Right.
And then once he has that mindset, which, look, Bryce Harper, I'm not telling him obviously what to do. But when it hits. But as he's getting older, it hasn't been hitting as much. And I think if they're going to buy into this more conservative approach, those are the kind of things we need to see taken out of the lineup.
Dan EHT chimes in at 609-403-0973. Says the Phillies are a top 5 offense in the regular season, but they need playoff offense. The approach needs to change at the plate. I think Don Mattingly will help. We'll see if Mattingly helps. I listen to Mike McGarry and others on the Sports Bash during the week here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm here every day with Mike Gill. I hear all the guests. I'm just not built into this idea that Don Mattingly is going to make or break this team. I don't buy it, right? To me, the players are going to do their job no matter who. Jesus could walk into that dugout, and if he turns all the Gatorade into everybody's favorite alcohol, and he's just like, "Hey, drinks on me," but guess what, Bryce? You need to lay off the first pitch. If Bryce don't want to lay off the first pitch, he ain't laying off the first. At some point, we just got to accept that these players are going to do whatever they want to do, no matter who the manager is, who the coach is. It doesn't matter. I don't even know who Alex. You're Alex Berardis.
Indeed.
Alec Boehm plays for the Phillies. Bryce Harper is his teammate. I don't even know who Bryce Harper's favorite player was growing up off the top of my head, but if that guy walked in and told him, "Hey, this is what you need to do," and if Harper doesn't listen, it don't matter. All right, we got to keep it moving here. We do have Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joining us. I could rant and rave at this Phillies team all day long. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll do it throughout the show. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the 97.3 ESPN Studios on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Don't forget about my friends over at Prevail Nutrition. Listen, Prevail Nutrition has got you covered because they got a special code going on today. Yes, today you can get money saved on your order. If you join Prevail Nutrition now for the very first time, let's say you've been hearing about me talk about it here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, and you've been like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to sign up. I don't know if I want a meal prep plan. Maybe you've been, thinking about it, but now I got a deal for you. You can save 20% off your first order right now if you go to prevail.club and you use the promo code PREVAIL FIRST. That's PREVAIL FIRST. When you check out your first time, 20% off your order. That's thanks to Ashley at Prevail Nutrition hooking everybody up out there who's listening to me right now on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios. As I mentioned, coming up on the other side, Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joins us next here on 97.3 ESPN.
Lanier in transition, hits the three, and a sign of life from Knoxville.
6 on the clock. Now with 5, he drives on Maddox. Right elbow and 3, spins to the foul line. Jumper up, and it rattles in at the buzzer.
Don't miss any of this year's action on the road to the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments.
Listen to the NCAA tournament tonight, the Elite 8 on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 6 p.m.
Brought to you by the New Jersey Lottery's Millionaire for Life.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. No, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever. Now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet the tournament action like a Caesar and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets.
Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live for the 97.3 ESPN Studios today, but 2 weeks from now, we will be broadcasting live from Whaletail Brewing Company. It'll be a extravaganza because the Phillies play at 1 o'clock that weekend. The Masters is that weekend. Billy, I'm officially inviting you to come down to Whaletail Brewing that day because I'm going to be there all day and afternoon. We got the Phillies game on the radio that day on 97.3 ESPN. So Hanging with Hennig will be 12 to 1. Take a break for the Phillies game. Come back on afterward. You got the TVs, you got the Phillies, you got the Masters. It's going to be a fun day. Whaletail Brewing, April 11th. It'll be the kickoff to the Hanging with Hennig South Jersey Brew Tour. We'll be announcing more dates coming up soon here on 97.3 ESPN. Alice Berard is joining me here in the studio. And right now, we're going to go to the phone line for our first guest of the day. Although he could probably talk Phillies for the whole segment. He probably doesn't even want to talk NFL at this point. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press covers the NFL, joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, how you doing today?
100% would love to talk Phillies. Can't wait for some more baseball action. It's the best time of year, Josh. This is great. Opening day weekend. I love it. Some baseball will be on our TVs for the next 7 months. It's awesome. But I'm getting ready to head out to Phoenix for the NFL league meetings. NFL never takes a minute off, as you know.
Yeah, I laughed with I think it was I saw on X. You said that your wife just realized that baseball season started the other day when you had all the TVs going with all the baseball games on.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Nothing like the baseball package, and it's great to have. It's got to be on somewhere in the background. It never dominates. She doesn't allow me to have it on the dominant unless I'm in my office and I'm by myself. But it's got to be somewhere. You got to have somewhere in the house.
Well, speaking of the Phillies, I'll ask you really quick before we get to the football stuff, because we were talking about before you came on. To me, I was telling everybody that they need to be ready for a roller coaster year because the Phillies are so desperate to sell us on this bill of goods that, see, we made adjustments to the roster. See, we're different. But yet opening day was what we all would have expected, right? Christopher Sanchez does his job. Kyle Schwarber does his job. Phillies acquire a bullpen guy. He implodes. Bryce Harper, he has a rough day at the office. Like, this is what it's going to be for 161 days again, Rob. There's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. It doesn't matter about the 162, Rob. It matters what you do in October. The problem with the Phillies is, made everybody frustrated, it's not that we hate the team. This is what the Dombrowski and the higher-ups of the Phillies don't understand. It's the fact that we've seen this script before. We've seen this television narrative before, right? We've seen this movie before. We know you can win 90-some games in the regular season. It matters what you do when the calendar flips to October, Rob.
100%. It's all about Red October. And honestly, it's hard to be at that stage of success where anything less than a championship, a parade, is considered a great year, a successful season. But that's where they are. Getting to the playoffs just don't matter anymore. You have to get to the playoffs. You have to get into the dance, so you have to get there. So these next 6 months matter from that standpoint. You don't want to jump out to an 8-22 start. So you want to, and there's competitive teams in the East and there's competitive teams in the National League. So you want to position yourself to where you can. But even last year, they have home field advantage, right? Didn't they have home field advantage in that series? I can't.
Yes,
even
they
remember.
did. Yes, they did.
The Dodgers, and still end up couldn't bring it back home, couldn't win that game, and it's going to ultimately come down to that. You know, you see Alec Boehm a couple of years ago was an all-star, and then there's the constant speculation about moving on from Alec. They didn't bring in Alex Bregman. They didn't bring in anybody else. He hits a 3-run homer on opening day. That's huge. Unfortunate situation, man, with what he's dealing with, like, and his parents and that lawsuit, and I know that's happened to other players.
Ryan Howard,
and Baker Mayfield too as well.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder how that can impact a guy over the course of the season. And we know that Alec is an emotional type player, right? You've seen him fire his helmet or throw his bat when things don't go his way. And it's just human nature. You have something like that. So I hope it doesn't have a negative impact on him. But they've got to win their 90-plus games to get to October. And honestly, I feel like it's about who they get in July or before the trade deadline, because I'm not convinced that this team can win it all when we've seen the failures over the past few seasons. So maybe Dallas Garcia can be a big bat in the playoffs, but there's a long way to go, man. And that's the exciting part, is it's a long way to go. It's a grind. It's a daily, constant conversation piece. And what's Bryce Harper going to end up with? How's he going to play? Is he going to be elite this season? Is he not going to be elite this season? As long as he's elite in October and they have a parade, that's all that matters. I don't care if he hits 232 right now and with 22 homers, you know. But I think Bryce is, and I got to see a little bit of him in spring training. I think he's going to. It's a prove it year for him in a lot of ways, just from the whole off season and what he's knowing him and his mentality and what he wants to do. I think he'll rebound nicely. It's not like he had a bad year either last year. It's not like you're rebound. He was injured. He was hurt. He missed a lot of the season. But I think he'll bounce back with an MVP-type season.
Well, Rob, let's flip it to for the Phillies to the Eagles, because the offseason, you just mentioned it. It's been very interesting for the Eagles because, while a lot of teams made those big splash moves early on, it feels like the Eagles are kind of working around the margins a little bit. And I think probably the sneakiest move that was made this past week was actually the re-signing of Fred Johnson, because of the fact that this is a team that needs all the depth they can get their hands on. Brett Toth, he left in free agency. You're bringing in a new O-line coach. This team, no matter what happens with the A.J. Brown thing, they need as many bodies going into camp who actually know what they're doing. I don't want to see a team, Rob, that goes in the camp with too many young guys who don't know the way of the NFL, shall we call it. I think that was part of the problem last year. They had too many guys who didn't know NFL ball, and I think it held them back and it forced them to play people like a Matt Pryor almost getting his quarterback killed in week 3 against the Rams, or forcing you to play more Keely Ringo than you wanted to, because the young guys you drafted weren't ready to step in and do a job. So I think it's important to have guys like the Fred Johnsons of the world, Rob, to go in there and be like, hey, we know you can do a job. We need you in case.
Yeah, I like Fred Johnson as a depth player, and he's somebody who stepped in, and he played well at times last year, and then they went from a Johnson to a Johnson when he replaced Lane.
Right.
I still think they're going to end up getting I've done 2 mocks. I've switched up my first 1.0 and 2.0 probably 80%, but for the Eagles, I kept both at 23. The offensive tackle from Utah, Caleb Lomu, is a guy who is going to potentially be a success to Lane Johnson. I really think they still go that route. They get an offensive lineman in the first round, somebody who can step in and play right away, but doesn't necessarily have to with Lane and Jordan Mailata as long as they're healthy. So you can have that luxury of grooming a guy at tackle, or maybe he can play inside and then move outside when needed. And you need it to be somebody of a high quality, high caliber potential, long-term foundation anchor piece. So that's why I really do think they'll go that route in the first round. Of course, they can move up and down, and that's what Howie does. They've stockpiled a lot of picks, but they need guys who can contribute, who can understand, who can play, because this is a team that's expected to be, again, a Super Bowl contender, and no reason for me to think they shouldn't be. Haven't checked the Vegas odds, but I know they're pretty high up there, right? And you don't want to be in a position where you've got to count on, like you said, from last year, and you're counting on guys who are not as familiar, not as, and maybe in some situations just not ready for the moment. It's also a big year on the offensive line because of the transition without Jeff Stoutland and his impact on Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and Landon Dickerson and everybody who he has helped elevate to, in some cases, Hall of Fame status, and in some cases just made them Pro Bowlers. And it's all eyes are going to be on what's the Eagles' offensive line look like this year without Stout. And you know that there'll be criticism the first time somebody messes up in OTAs or wherever it may be, because I don't know that I've seen any team where stats are a daily thing in training camp or in the off-season workouts like they are with the Eagles.
Rob, I'm going to go back to the A.J. Brown thing. Just kind of seems like we're never going to get out of this loop. But the Eagles bring in a guy in Elijah Moore, big ties to A.J. Brown, very close friend of his. How much of that really is the Eagles are saying we just needed another receiver on the roster, or was it more of a, A.J., we're going to try and help you out here. We want you around. We're going to bring in a guy you know. Where does that lie in that whole situation?
I don't think it hurts to have a guy that it has a relationship with him in the room. I don't think Elijah Moore wasn't brought in to replace A.J. Brown. If they move on from A.J. Brown, they've got to find a different way to fill that void. And they put they're in a position where they don't have to trade AJ. They never did have to trade AJ unless he made it extremely uncomfortable and demanded out. He hasn't done it that way publicly. Privately, we know that the Eagles realize and understand that AJ would have preferred to move on somewhere. Their asking price was high. And when you see what Jalen Waddle brings back in a return, I didn't think the Eagles were going to be able to get what they wanted for AJ, and they certainly didn't. But then once you see Jalen Waddle go for what his cost was, you feel like Howie's justified in asking. Like, I know Jalen Waddle is a great player. I'm taking A.J. Brown over Jalen Waddle just because of the fact that he's bigger, stronger, that type of possession guy, has won a Super Bowl. He's been through it. He's been to another Super Bowl. So it's a guy who doesn't shrink in the big moment. Not saying Jalen Waddle does or would. And Jalen's got all the off-field type character traits that you love in a player in Jalen Waddle. I don't know how much that factored into his price, his price tag, but like, he's a great dude. He'll never be a problem. We'll trade a 1 and 2 and swap and do all that for him. But I think the Eagles could still hold out and be like, hey, we're not going to move A.J. Brown unless we get our price. And maybe closer to the draft as we get, and there's some conversations in Phoenix this week when everybody gets together, and as we get closer to the draft, will the Patriots move that? What are they, 31, right? Will the Patriots move 31 for AJ? I would have to think that the Eagles would do that, but I think they want more. Certainly than a 31, they probably will want something else, a 1 and a 4, a 1 and whatever. I never thought they'd be able to get a 1, but now I don't fault them for holding out for a 1, especially after the most recent moves.
Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joining us here and Hanging with Hennig, Josh Hennig, Alex Barardis in the 97.3 ESPN Studios, at Rob Maaddi on the X platform. The whole A.J. Brown thing, I keep going back to a comment I've heard other people make, Rob, and I want to know your perspective on it. Is there's a lot of questioning out there of, the whole situation has gotten to where it is. We're now on March 28th, right? There's reporting out there that, A.J. Brown's people have put out feelers out there. The Eagles taking numerous calls. There's been numerous conversations. People have asked the question, I want to repurpose it to you. Do you think we can put the toothpaste back in the tube when we get the training camp? Or do you think it's a fait accompli that he will not be here next season?
A month ago, I thought he was not going to be here next season. But when you see things like bringing in his old college roommate, right, and I think that's a move that's made to add not just the depth in the wide receivers room, but to kind of mend those fences, to kind of make it a situation where AJ is a little bit more excited about being back in the building. If they end up going in that direction, he's not going to hold out and not play for the season. And I never got the impression that AJ, the relationship with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts is not one that has deteriorated. There's not. He just wants the ball, and he wants to be in a system where he gets the ball and gets opportunities to get more passes and to contribute and to win. And you want guys who want to win, but you also don't want to have guys who make it all about them. If you win and a guy's got 2 catches and he's putting out cryptic messages and all of that stuff, that can all be worked out. And Josh, I think you can see AJ. Spiritual maturity is a little bit might be part of his growth. We saw some times where he put out, whether it's he's talking about a Bible verse or something that he read or something that, whatever it is. And I feel like that's a growth process that can only help him mature as a player. So as he's growing, and somebody asked him last year about, hey, what book are you reading? Remember the whole book reading thing? And he pointed out that he's diving into the Bible, and I forget the book within the Bible. Was it Jeremiah? I don't know. Whatever he was reading, but I feel like if he's got that kind of attitude and mentality and people trying to speak into him and encourage him and uplift him, he can develop and grow more into a player that becomes more of a teammate, a great teammate. And I think that can happen. He's 27 or 28? Man, at 27 or 28, I was even more selfish than A.J. Brown. And I grew and I changed. So I can't judge him based on how he's feeling in the heat of the moment when he's not getting enough balls thrown his way and he wants to help the team win. So I do think that it can be fixed, or to put it in the terms that you said, the toothpaste can be put back in the bottle or wherever it came from, right? It can happen. People change. People grow. They develop. They get. Sometimes you need somebody to speak cold hard truth to you, whether it's a pastor, a minister, a confidant, an accountability.
Well, I think that's part
partner.
of AJ's problem. He doesn't have that. I think a lot of people have that problem, Rob. It's not just AJ Brown. We live in a world where there's a lot of people who don't have the person in their life who will speak the tough truth to them, not just the convenient truth to them.
Yeah, and you're right, because we're in an era of people being coddled and people being lifted up and being told how awesome they are, and then people being told you can think however you want to think and be whatever it is. We see a lot of crazy stuff out there, and sometimes, especially when you're someone who's got the money, the power, the fame, and the glory, the people who are surrounding him, somebody has to be courageous enough to speak truth to him. And sometimes they're afraid to be cut off, or they're afraid of how there's going to be negative repercussions. But I feel like if he finds that person, if there are enough people around, and sometimes it's got to be a teammate, it's got to be someone else, another leader, and it's clearly like that's not Jalen's MO, but somebody else within that locker room maybe could be that guy. You would hope it's a position coach, a receivers coach, or the head coach, or somebody else. But that's a good conversation. I might bring that up to a few people in Phoenix around the Eagles.
Rob, really quick before we let you go, your latest mock draft is up over at apnews.com. And what I think is interesting is not that you have a offensive lineman going to the Eagles, because, I mean, listen, we know the Eagles, they invest in the trenches. That's the Howie Roseman way, right? What I think is interesting is the why Caleb Lemieux is where he is from Utah, because you look at the way that your mock draft lays out, Rob, you have a group of guys going maybe a little higher than people might have expected. You know, Ty Simpson, you have going to the Jets at 16, for example. You know, you have Kenyon Sadiq going 19 to the Panthers. I think part of the conversation that is going to need to be had as we get closer to the draft is how the people who are drafted ahead of the 20s are going to push people down to where Philadelphia is. And unless the Eagles are going to get, nuts, to quote the Michael Keaton line from the movie Batman, unless Howie Roseman wants to get nuts, Rob, I think he's going to let the draft board and the chaos ahead of him play out and hey, you guys want to draft all those guys? That's fine. I'm going to sit here and let the best player come to me.
Yeah, and I would be more inclined to trade back than trade up and just get more assets. And it ended up in my 2.0 mock draft scenario, I think the big winners from this would be the Dallas Cowboys, because I have Jeremiah Love somehow falling to them at 12. He's a top 5 talent. I don't know that he can fall to them at 12, but the way I had it play out and the teams ahead of them, and I didn't mock any trades for this one, so I didn't want to sit there and start doing different types of deals. I might do that for mock draft 3.0, but I've got Love falling to the Cowboys at 12, and then a corner in Jermod McCoy, who I've seen a lot of mock drafts have him going top 13, top 15, top 12 to the Cowboys, falling to them at 20. So if you're a Cowboys fan, which there aren't many, well, I know there's a lot in the area, but a lot of it's certainly not well liked. Should be happy with that mock draft. But yeah, Blake Miller, a guy who some have going to the Eagles at 23. I have him going to the Steelers at 21. So it depends. There's a lot of offensive linemen. You got Caden Proctor from Alabama. He's a guy who he can go anywhere from 15 to 25, and I've got him at 17. I don't know that I'm going to stay with Ty Simpson at 16 to the Jets in 3.0, Josh. I'm thinking about that one, and I saw Dan Orlovsky say and take so much heat this week for saying he's better. He's the best quarterback in the draft class, which is kind of wild. And I didn't watch all the tape of Ty Simpson versus Mendoza like he did. And for him to say that, I think that's certainly high praise. And a lot of people are feeling that way about him. But like you said, the way the draft board shakes out early could determine for a lot of teams their decision to move up, their decision to stay put. And that'll be the case with Howie. The one thing we do know with the Eagles is they'll be aggressive. And if they see a guy that they love, that maybe they had top 5, but now has fallen, and they've got an opportunity to go from 23 to 18 or 16 or something like that, they'll do it if there's a guy that they absolutely love. And at the same time, they've shown that they're willing to be patient. And there was a year where the Dallas Goedert year, right? They traded out of the first round and ended up taking him in the second round. So we've seen that happen too as well. A lot of offensive linemen, I still think they come out of one in the first round, and maybe a couple in the first couple days.
He's Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press, at Rob Maaddi on the X platform, at Real Rob Maaddi on Instagram. Check out all of his coverage and his latest mock draft at apnews.com. And then don't forget about Faith on the Field, heard Saturday and Sunday mornings right here on 97.3 ESPN. And also you can get Faith on the Field wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Rob, appreciate you jumping on today. Good luck with the coaching this afternoon.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Josh. Take care.
Josh Hennig along with Alex Baradas hanging out here on 97.3 ESPN, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. And don't forget, if you're looking for a place to watch all of the action today, Phillies at 4, NCAA tournament coming up at 6 o'clock, you know where you need to go. You need to go to Hang Time Bar and Grill, because for every tournament game all month long, so today, tomorrow, as well as they even will extend it to next weekend as well in April for the tournament games. But anytime there's a tournament game, all the college games, special appetizer and drink specials for all the games. I mean, 350 Miller Lite and Bud Light drafts are just some of the great specials they have for you over at Hang Time Bar and Grill, the place to be to watch the Phillies and the NCAA tournament games. By the way, they got plenty of 30 TVs over there. They'll have the Flyers game on. They'll have the Sixers game on tonight. That's Hang Time Bar and Grill on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. Looking for a great happy hour or night out with friends and family? Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway, has live music every Tuesday night, DJ Bingo every Wednesday night, and check out their 30 TVs to watch your favorite team play any time of year. Enjoy all the college basketball tournament action in March with food and drink specials at the main bar, or check out their new private back deck patio. Check out Hang Time Bar and Grill on Facebook and Instagram to learn more about their weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey on the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels of Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic, made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injections 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
50 years from now, will jeans be wide or skinny? Will email still exist? Will guac still be extra? One thing is certain. If you won the new Millionaire for Life from the New Jersey Lottery today, you'd still be getting $1 million every year for life. That's enough money to say, bring it on, the future. I will have that guacamole at any price.
Play the new Millionaire for Life today. Anything can happen in Jersey. Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Time for March fun. Fill out your brackets and head to Ventnor Social to catch all the live action of the basketball tournament. Watch every game on 20 big screens. Enjoy game day food specials, wing specials, and cold drafts. While you're there, create your own action and play one of the many video games they have on site in their arcade. Ventnor Social is your basketball headquarters this March. Ventnor Social on Ventnor Avenue. Visit their Facebook page for up-to-date info and specials.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig along with Alex Berard is back here in the 97.3 ESPN studios. We'll get back to text board in the next hour at 609-403-0973. But we want to reset what Rob was saying, Alex, because I thought what was very interesting about the A.J. Brown thing, which is, you know, that the Eagles, they're not going to just give him up for nothing. But that maybe when these owners get out to Phoenix, right, you know, Jeffrey Lurie gets in the same room as a Robert Kraft, that maybe these conversations get a little accelerated out there.
Yeah, and once the clock's ticking on draft night, everybody kind of gets a little antsy. Everybody kind of gets a little, maybe do a trade here or there that they usually wouldn't do if the pressure wasn't on. So I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I personally don't see AJ leaving. I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened already. I think AJ's saying, but you know what? Like I said, those draft nights, hey, that's how we got AJ Brown, was a draft night trade.
It was.
So I very well could see it happening just the other way this time.
I just keep going back to the fact that I can't get over the reality that June 1st thing has got to be the biggest obstacle, that they don't want to take the cap hit, and A.J. Brown refuses to renegotiate his contract. You know, A.J.'s part of the problem here, Alex. If A.J. wasn't such a, whatever you want to call him, such a just an individual who I think is obtuse with the rest of reality, like if you want to get traded, if you want to be here, let's say you want to go to the Patriots, renegotiate the contract. Deal probably would have been done already. But he won't renegotiate his contract.
Then that might mean he wants to stay. He's saying, hey, I want my money first off, but second off, I don't want to renegotiate because I'm fine staying here.
I don't think A.J. Brown knows what he wants.
That's very true, though.
He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Don't forget the Ivy Rehab injury report coming up at 1:25 today. We'll get into the Orion Kerkering hamstring issue, as well as Matt Gelb from The Athletic at 2 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and my intern Aaron Ewing join me in the studio. We will recap the Phillies-Rangers Saturday night action, and we'll go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green, brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City. Hour 2, we'll talk Flyers hockey and Sixers basketball, plus some Eagles news. All that and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
We usually think of cardio for heart health, but strength training may be just as important. Research now shows lifting weights helps lower blood pressure, improves blood sugar control, and reduces belly fat, all major risk factors for heart issues. Muscle is metabolically active tissue, meaning it helps our body regulate energy. And here's some great news. The more muscle we have, the more calories we burn, even at rest. Strength training also helps improve bone density. Consistency matters more than intensity. Just 2 or 3 days per week using dumbbells, resistance bands, or even body weight exercises can make a big difference. Our heart doesn't just benefit from movement, it benefits from muscle. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Did you know rechargeable lithium-ion batteries should never go in the trash? They can spark fires and put collection workers at risk. Dispose of them safely at ACUA household hazardous waste drop-offs or recycle them at participating hardware and battery stores. Learn more at acua.com/batteries.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Ahoy, matey! Is that a new phone?
Aye, Captain, that's my new Samsung Galaxy S25 FE.
You must have paid a pretty doubloon for that.
Nay, 'twas zero down from Cricket Wireless.
So, you plundered it.
Nay, again, 'tis a monthly payment plan with bread pay.
You're shivering me timbers.
I shiver you not. Me first payment is next month.
Aye, that's not a plunder. That's a steal.
Get a new Samsung Galaxy S25 FE for $0 down when you pay over time with bread pay. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Subject to approval of credit application. Bread pay loans are made by Comenity Capital Bank and Bread Financial Company.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic, made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet the tournament action like a Caesar and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets.
Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him! It's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the 97.3 ESPN Studios. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. The only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. The action's heating up on the court, and there's no better time than start betting like a Caesar. You can earn perks when you bet on every tournament game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. What are you waiting for? Download the app. Use my promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. Rule your play with Caesars Sportsbook. Open to new users in New Jersey are 21 or older. Max bet $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Barrard is joining me here at the 97.3 ESPN Studios. We'll check back in on the text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. 25 minutes from now, we will be joined by Dr. Josh Makin from Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy for the Ivy Rehab Injury Report of the Week, where we will get the latest perspective on Orion Kirkering. For those who might not know, Orion Kirkering started the year on injured reserve due to a lingering hamstring issue. So, as Alex just shakes his head over there, like, you know,
like
really?
in a bullpen. I do appreciate, and I do like that opening day, you know, they were announcing all the players coming out. Orion got a big standing ovation. I think that was great of the Philly fans to do for him there.
Can I just say...
Here's the bad guy, Josh.
Yeah, here's the bad guy. It's cute that everyone wants to support the guy. But, what, you know, I think the disconnect here is the reason why players don't understand why this stuff matters. It's not that the fans, and the fans feel now obligated to go over the top with this stuff. Okay? They didn't need to give Orion Kirkering a big ovation. But the fans probably feel they have to because Orion Kirkering, like many of these athletes, don't understand the real dirt behind why fans get mad at them. Fans get mad because sports is one of the only arenas on planet Earth where you make a mistake and you don't typically lose your job, right? Orion Kirkering was not banned from baseball or traded to, like, the Korean Baseball League, okay, because he made a mistake. If a carpenter makes a mistake, if a car auto mechanic makes a mistake, if a doctor in surgery makes a mistake, if, you know, a person working on a gas main makes a mistake, there are real major consequences. And so the problem that athletes forget sometimes is that you are being paid ridiculous money, millions and millions of dollars to play a game. And so for the fan, when they see you make a mistake, it's hard for them to comprehend the idea that, well, they're just human. Nobody wants to hear that because the average person out there looks at them and says to A.J. Brown, you should have caught that ball. It was in your hands. You're being paid millions of dollars to catch a football. And so the fans now have had to turn into a bunch of softies and to make these players feel loved and welcomed and appreciated because the players can't comprehend that the average Joe, you know, for example, in our business, you know, radio, television, we are still under the FCC rules. If somebody curses on the radio and I don't hit that dump button, or Alex or Nick don't hit the dump button, it's not just the radio station that gets penalized. We, the individual operator, will get fined. And I don't know about you, Alex, but I can't afford a $10,000 to $20,000 fine from the federal government, okay? So, but Orion Kirkering makes an error on the biggest stage. He ain't getting a big fine. He ain't having life-changing consequences to his everyday life. And I think that's where these athletes, these petulant children like Nick Castellanos, like, they don't understand that it's not about you being human. It's not about you understanding, it's not that we don't understand. It's that you, the athlete, needs to understand where the fan is coming from. The fan who's saves every cent of their paycheck to go to a game that's exorbitantly priced for them to park and to go to the game and to pay stupid prices for beer and hot dog, and that you can't give your best effort. That's why the whole thing is stupid to me, because now we're having to overcompensate for these athletes having the lack of awareness and they're being tone deaf to the reality of why people get frustrated and boo them.
Interesting. I think he knows, though, the magnitude of what he did was that bad. But I also do think, like, the fans, if they wanted to, they could have booed him. You costed us our season. You costed us a shot to win a World Series, which we have been craving ever since 2008. Especially in a market like Philly, where they can be ruthless. They really can. Now, the whole Trey Turner thing a few years ago, the standing ovation thing, I assume you weren't really on board with that?
I was indifferent.
Okay.
I didn't understand
the Netflix documentary that got made about it. That I thought, I was scrolling one day and I saw it. I was like, what? I mean, I watched it, but like, really? That's what we're putting money towards Netflix? But yeah,
Netflix is also going to spend about $30 billion to buy, Warner Brothers, and that got nixed. So, I mean, Netflix is, they spend a lot of money on a lot of dumb stuff.
Speaking of, I am so out on all these different streaming services, broadcasting, MLB, NFL. Like, opening night was on Netflix. Stop. The Friday night, the Phillies and their City Connects, Apple TV. Like, stop. Make it accessible for the usual normal consumer. I don't understand. Like, I mean, I do understand why they're doing this, but it's ruining the game. It's making it so hard. The blackouts are the worst thing, I think.
The blackout to me is more the problem.
I am so out on blackouts. I think it's the worst thing in sports.
If you just get rid of the blackouts, I could deal with the rest of the stuff. Because the blackout, you're right. It's like, for example, if you have, for example, as I'm saying, for example, I have ESPN Unlimited. I got the bundle.
I think I know where you're going with this.
So I have the bundle. Now, I've had the bundle from day one because it saves me money. So I'm trying to, you got to pick and choose what you can and can't pay for, right? You can't pay for everything. You can't watch everything either. So one of the reasons why I love the ESPN Unlimited is because of the hockey coverage. You get the opportunity to watch every game on a quad box. So when it's 10 o'clock at night and there's no Sixers game on and there's nothing else for me to watch, I like to put the quad box on. I like being like, hey, I got 5 games on the screen here. But they won't put the Flyers on because the Flyers are blacked out because of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Well, if you don't have the money to pay for cable or Dish or YouTube TV, which is lying about their discounted rate bundle they're coming out with, by the way, your only other option is to pay the $26 a month through Peacock to watch the Flyers. It's not like, for example, football, where I can get the Eagles game no matter what. Baseball, there's ways around it, but baseball is the same as the blackout. If there's a game on MLB TV exclusive, it's blacked out. Why? Because it's on the local market. And so you're right. I wouldn't care about all these different platforms if there wasn't a blackout forcing me to spend more money than I need to. You're basically sacrificing your fans' ability to watch the game because the leagues and the teams and the players are being unreasonable about who gets the largest share of the money.
I also think guys like you and I suffer from it the most because of how much of different variety of sports we consume.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish one of these companies would just say, we're taking over everything. We're monopolizing this. Because I'm a wrestling fan. WWE is now $30 a month to watch on ESPN Unlimited. UFC just moved over to Paramount Plus. That's another $9 a month or whatever it is. And that's with the ads. If you want to get without the ads, you got to pay an extra $5.
Right.
Then, Peacock if you want to watch Sunday Night Football or like a Saturday night main event. It's too all over the place here. Netflix, Monday Night Raw. Now baseball's on there too. Thanksgiving, Christmas games for the NFL on Netflix. You are spending so much money in a year. Like if you were to take a look at all of your payments at the end of the year, how much money you are spending on these subscription services just to consume some sports is unreal.
Well, they did a study a couple of years ago, and I'm pretty sure that the study is still on par. For those who don't know, by the way, Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Barada is joining me in the 97.3 ESPN studios. If you're watching on YouTube next, and you're wondering who the rando is over my left shoulder, that's Vince, the intern. He's learning how to do the board. He'll be working alongside all of us soon here at 97.3 ESPN. So there was a study done a couple of years ago that basically, if you are like working class income, you typically only have 2 to 3 streaming services. If you're middle class income, you have typically 3 to 6 streaming services. And if you're, upper middle class to upper class, you have like 8 to 10 streaming services. Now, what's interesting about that is the amount of work you have to do to make the money, to pay for these things. First of all, I'm always curious, how do people have time to watch all this stuff? Because I barely have time to watch all the sports I'm consuming. And then I might get around to, my favorite shows, right? Sometimes I'm actually watching my shows, on the treadmill at the gym. I do that sometimes. I'll watch Raw, Alex, on the treadmill while I'm running at the gym. That's
not a bad idea.
I'm fitting it in. I'm squeezing it in. So, but these streaming services, there's too many of them. And you're right. And there's ways to work around this. If you want to get really fancy, I'll give everybody the inside scoop. If you are a Walmart Plus customer, you can get the Paramount package for a discount.
But then, do you have to pay for Walmart Plus?
You do have to pay for Walmart
so
Plus.
You're paying somewhere.
But for example, people pay for Amazon Prime. Why? Because they use Amazon Prime.
True.
Right? It's the idea of, I have a specific cell phone carrier. I'm not going to name on the radio because they do not actually pay me to mention them on the radio. But through their package, I get free MLB TV. I get a discount on my Hulu Disney Plus bundle. So I'm finding ways to, cut corners and save money, but it only goes so far. Because who's not giving me discounts to cut corners? Peacock, HBO Max, Paramount, unless I sign up for Walmart Plus. So unless everyone's going to make it more economical for the average person to have all these platforms, it makes the blackout even more exhausting. Because guess what? If you want to watch a Phillies game and you don't have Xfinity, YouTube TV, or Hulu Plus Live Sports or whatever platform it may be available on, it's hard to get NBC Sports Philadelphia unless you have one of the big 3.
We want simple things here. It's not much we're asking for.
This is where Billy Schweim, I think, is not wrong. Billy, we make fun of him at times because he's, get off my lawn and, Billy versus technology. But, we all joke around about it. But in the reality is the premise of what he's saying is correct. You've made it so difficult to just watch a game that now fans are having to make life and death decisions about what are they going to spend money on.
Is the family eating this week or not? Or am I watching the Phillies play the Rangers?
And listen, to the person who texted, Rainy HT. Rainy HT, I understand what you're saying about, there are platforms where you can stream stuff. Those platforms don't last long because people who have money find those platforms and shut them down. Or that platform might have some sort of like spamware or like, something like lingering in the background that's going to put something that's going to have pop-up ads on your computer or your phone or tracking information so they can steal your information later on. That's one of the new scams now. What they do is they offer you, hey, you can watch these things for free. But what they find out is in order they need access to like your Wi-Fi network or your phone service, or there's some sort of backdoor sign-in they use. And so then every time you open your phone and let's say you're ordering something from Home Depot, get your card information in the background. So it's a background running process. So I don't trust any of those things. My dad taught me well enough to know that you don't trust any of these third, fourth party stuff because it'll ruin your life. Trust me, I ain't going to be that guy. So everyone else wants to do it that way. You want to go get a what's the one thing that people do now? The Fire Sticks, right? The Fire Stick thing. Well, those Fire Sticks can have embedded malware in them too. Let's forget about that. No one talks about that part. Are you really trust the person who's getting you that Fire Stick, who's getting you that broken box, that needs to update 5 months later, suspiciously? I don't trust any of that stuff. How about we stop charging people things so they can actually watch the game? I want to watch the Phillies play at 4 o'clock and not spend an arm and a leg.
It's one of the simple things in life that we get to enjoy. That is getting the enjoyment taken out of it because we just know we're getting screwed somewhere.
It's ridiculous.
That was a good grind my gear session, I feel like, right there.
Yeah. Where's Peter from Family Guy? You know what grinds my gears?
Yeah, literally. What was this segment supposed to even be on?
I was going to talk about the Phillies, but we will get back to the Phillies coming up in just a bit because we have the next edition of the Ivy Rehab Injury Report with Dr. Josh Makin coming up with over 18 locations around South Jersey. Orion Kerkering is where we started because Orion Kerkering is not playing right now because he has a hamstring issue. And soft tissue injuries are very complicated. They're a very messy things. So we're going to ask Dr. Josh Makin about that along with, Iowa State has made a deep playoff run despite one of their best players, Joshua Jefferson, having some injury concerns. So we're going to get into what goes into these athletes recovering from these injuries coming up next on the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. Josh Hennig, Alex Bardis, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. You know what I can tell you that's not complicated? Watching games at Hang Time Bar and Grill on the White Horse Pike in Galloway with special appetizer and drink specials for every college game. Listen, today's a perfect day to go to a place like Hang Time Bar and Grill because you got the Phillies at 4, you get the Flyers coming up at 8, the Sixers at 6, and the NCAA tournament games all day long starting at 6 p.m. You want a place that has 30 TVs to watch all of those games, and that's why you want to go to my friends over at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Looking for a great happy hour or night out with friends and family? Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway, has live music every Tuesday night, DJ bingo every Wednesday night, and check out their 30 TVs to watch your favorite team play any time of year. Enjoy all the college basketball tournament action in March with food and drink specials at the main bar, or check out their new private back deck patio. Check out Hang Time Bar and Grill on Facebook and Instagram to learn more about their weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey on the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
At Macy's VIP sale, there isn't just one way to save. First, take 25% off our best brands, like Good American, Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and so many more. Then, take 15% off must-have beauty and fragrance from Miu Miu, Yves Saint Laurent, and Prada. And Star Rewards members can earn Star Money even faster on everything else, only at Macy's VIP sale. Hurry, it all ends Sunday. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
That pallet of pavers collecting dust? The beginnings of a garden? Those stray fence posts? Are you haunted by half-finished projects on your land? John Deere is here to say, not anymore. Our compact tractors allow you to swap implements easily, and they're backed by the nation's largest dealer network. You always had the right idea, and with the right tools, those projects can get finished for good. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/compact tractors.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet the tournament action like a Caesar and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets.
Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back, and I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I want all my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. It's time for the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. Ivy Rehab, with over 18 locations around South Jersey, offering best-in-class outpatient therapy. And you know why I can say they have best-in-class outpatient therapies? Because they're my physical therapy center, and they should be yours as well. I am actually going to be discharged soon in the next couple sessions, so they'll get a break from me finally after months of working on my neck. But joining us today, a new doctor joining us this week is Dr. Josh Makin here on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm good, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing good. Too many Joshes in the building.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Well, you got Dr. Josh Lamb. It's like, apparently all the Joshes apparently work for Ivy Rehab, I guess.
Yeah.
Or associated with Ivy Rehab.
Yeah, Josh and I worked in the same clinic, so it got confusing for a while.
Did you guys just go to last names at that point?
I think we went to like Josh 1 and Josh 2. And since he was the OG, I became Josh 2.
So you went Spider-Man meme on everybody. So
yeah.
Well, let's get to these injuries because they are some very interesting injuries. Again, Dr. Josh Makin joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. So let's talk about first Orion Kirkland. We mentioned him before you came on. So for those who don't know, he began the season on the injured list with a grade 1 hamstring strain. He was originally suffered the injury in February. Took about a month off, came back, and they thought it was a Charlie horse, later diagnosed with a strain. So can you first explain to the audience the difference between just getting a Charlie horse and what a strain really means in terms of the process of diagnosis and recovery?
So, I'm not surprised that they may have chalked it up as a Charlie horse at first. A cramp can be, kind of a quick strain or a quick stretch of a muscle that becomes, a little bit sore, but kind of goes away over a day or two, where a strain's going to linger a little more. And in Orion's case, a grade 1 strain of the hamstring generally, should be recovered within 2 to 4 weeks, right? It's usually going to be indicated on an MRI if they, and these are professional athletes, so they're getting the imaging, whenever they need it. And so on an MRI, you're going to see maybe some minor, if present at all, any tearing of the muscle tissue. And you're going to see maybe a little bit of weakness and soreness and potentially a little bit of swelling around the area. And in his case, it kind of depends on, is it in the meat of the muscle, like the mid thigh of the hamstring, in the muscle belly, or is it a strain at the attachment sites, like at the your sit bones and your buttock, or at the back of your knee where the muscle becomes a tendon and attaches to those 2 points? If it's in the muscle, generally, like I said, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, he should be recovered pretty good from that. If it's in a tendon, sometimes they can be a little bit more nagging for athletes, where that tendon just takes a little longer to heal because there's less blood flow there. And so they do take longer to heal in those areas.
So then what is the recovery difference between different parts? Because the hamstring is, I believe, is one of the biggest muscles in the body, right? So what would then be like someone comes into IV rehab with a strain of their hamstring, but they say to you, I don't really understand how this works, right? So for someone coming into IV rehab, or for Orion Kirkering, what is the difference then in the recovery timetable for the different areas of the hamstring?
So it depends on the severity again. That's going to be graded on imaging. A grade 1, minor, if at all, any tearing of the tissue. Grade 2 is going to be definitely some partial tearing or some bruising indicated of some tissue damage there. And a grade 3 is going to be like an obvious tear or a rupture, and that's going to usually require surgery, right? So the first thing is to determine, what severity of a strain are we dealing with here? And then, initially when someone comes in, we're going to explain to them based on what we see on their exam. We're going to explain to them, all right, so we have some bruising or we just have some tenderness. So if it's just tender, a little bit of soreness, we're going to work on pain control first, right? Some soft tissue work where we're working on increasing blood flow to help improve the healing of that tissue. Maybe some ice if they need it, and some gentle stretching after like a week or two, because you don't want to stretch a muscle that's been strained. That's kind of a misconception a lot of times. People think, oh, you just need to stretch more. But if you already have a muscle that's been strained, stretching it right away to help lengthen it isn't going to help. We want to shut it down for a little bit and then gradually increase our load on the tissue. And load's going to come in the form of a stretch or in the form of, athletic activity and loading the muscle up with running and sprinting and any other dynamic activity. So it really depends on the severity of the strain that the patient's dealing with, and then determining, when's a good time for them to start increasing their output, right? And that's usually going to be, when they have no pain, they can start jogging and, getting into some higher level athletic movement, sprinting and running. And you see in baseball players all the time, they hit the ball, they sprint down first place, and then they pull up with a hamstring strain pretty frequently. And that's why they're really nagging injuries for athletes is, we do a lot of stop, cut, go activities when we're playing basketball, baseball, football, and that quick, dynamic, explosive movement really puts a lot of strain through that muscle, and that's what usually causes it. So easing people back into their normal activities is key. And possibly they shut Orion down because maybe he had some pain, or maybe they just wanted to give him rest before getting into the meat of the season here as it gets started up. So I'm not sure exactly what their reasoning was behind shutting him down, if he actually had pain with performance, or if he was just exercising extra caution in his case.
We're talking with Josh Makin, of course, from Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy with over 18 locations around South Jersey. They're my go-to for physical therapy. They should be yours. Again, Ivy Rehab injury report today here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. The other part of the conversation we want to get to today, because with the NCAA tournament going on all weekend long, folks can hear coverage coming up at 6 o'clock today on 97.3 ESPN. The run for Iowa State ended, and part of the reason why it ended this week, Dr. Makin, is because of the fact of the loss of another Joshua Jefferson. One of their best players was unavailable. And what's interesting about it is that his injury, it was purely an accident. He literally just came down from doing a layup, landed wrong, ankle bent. So he was unavailable to play. His team lost, which is obviously very devastating for him. So explain to people, when someone has a lower ankle sprain, why is that an injury that it might take someone longer than expected to return from?
So, I mean, I think we've all rolled our ankle before, and 9 times out of 10, you'll catch it. You feel your ankle kind of kick back in and you're stable, but, you slip off the edge of a sidewalk and the ankle rolls over. And when that happens, you're putting a lot of strain and stress through the ligaments that run on the outside of the ankle. And as your foot turns inward, those ligaments and tendons get stretched out. And that can cause, different levels of severity of sprains, right? Same thing we talk about the hamstring strain. There's different grades. Some tearing, no tearing. It all depends on how severe that is. That's all going to be diagnosed usually on an MRI. I didn't see they didn't really get into how severe that ankle sprain was for him. They just kind of said he had it. And so, if it's a grade 1, which, these happen to people all the time, right? A grade 1 is going to be just a little bit of stretching the ligament and some of the tendons that run on the outside of the ankle, maybe some mild swelling and tenderness, and then, usually able to walk without any, significant pain there. Usually about 3 to 4 weeks of recovery, and you're back to normal activity, right? Grade 2 is where it gets a little more hairy, because you can have partial tearing of the ligaments, and depending on the activity that you're trying to get back to. In basketball, it's a lot of dynamic jumping and coming down on your foot. Your foot is in an unstable position anyway, and so if you try to get back to activity like that too quickly, because those ligaments and tendons have been stretched out, the ankle itself lacks the stability. And until those ligaments heal and kind of tighten back up, you're at a really high risk of re-injury. So that's why you'll see, when people get an ankle sprain, the athletic training teams in there taping that ankle up, wearing an ankle brace, anytime they're doing any kind of running and athletic activity, because you're at a really high risk of re-rolling the ankle and re-injuring those ligaments until they're fully healed. So in his case, it must have been significant enough that he couldn't go, because that training staff's going to do everything they can do to get their star player out there with, pain control, with ice, electrical stimulation, things we use in the clinic, and any kind of anti-inflammatories, after a few days. Because I know in the past, one of the big things was rice. We want to rest and ice and compress it and elevate it. But, now we're kind of moving away from that and getting into an active recovery rather than just letting time do it. We're going to start with some, light, gentle range of motion activities, controlling the pain with ice. And then as people are able to walk and do more weight-bearing activities on that foot, you can get into some static balance activity where it's just standing on an unstable surface, like in the clinic. You may have seen some people there standing on a foam pad. And because that foam pad provides, less feedback, your foot and ankle have to work a little harder to stay stable. And then we would progress from a static balance exercise regimen to more dynamic activity where, all right, you're on that unstable surface, you're playing catch with the therapist, and you're going back and forth, moving right and left. And then you're going to get into sport-specific activity with running and cutting drills, and really put that ankle through its paces to make sure that it's stable enough to get back to their sport activity.
And so, for the average person who comes into Ivy Rehab, what is a realistic timetable for someone who has, let's say it's a grade 1 lower ankle sprain, someone who, they're not a professional athlete, right? But they want to play maybe a little recreation basketball. Maybe they're someone who plays, a little soccer with like a men's league or something. What is a realistic time frame that they should walk in and say, hey, I want to get back to doing what I like to do? Because, for example, I know for me, my process of going through my recovery from my injury took longer than I wanted to. And I needed to be told a couple times, hey, you got to be patient with this process.
Yeah. So, that's one of the big things with our patients, just trying to, reiterate to them that, it takes time. Everyone wants to get back to what they want to do yesterday. No one wants to come to, go to their physical therapist 2-3 times a week for a month. But unfortunately, that is what it takes for the general population, because, you think about these athletes, they're getting their training teams and their physical therapists, several hours a day, every day. Like, that's their job. For us, we're going to PT one hour, hour and 15, hour and a half, maybe, 2 to 3 days a week. And, then you got to do your home exercises. So I usually tell my patients, if they come in with a mild ankle sprain, you're looking at a good 3 to 4 weeks of physical therapy to kind of recover from this. With the first week to 2 weeks being managing the pain, inflammation, swelling, getting their range of motion back, identifying, maybe there's some other structures that are tight. If the calf is really tight, it's going to put more strain on the ankle in other ways. So identifying what's tight and what's weak, right? And that ankle is going to be weak after this, the injury they sustained to it. So working on resistance band exercises, which if you were there for an ankle sprain, you're really familiar with these, where you're working on strengthening those muscles that are going to prevent that injury from happening again, and allowing that ankle to roll in. They're going to kick in when that rolling in moment happens and save that ankle from rolling in and straining those ligaments and tendons again. So generally about a month for the general population coming into our clinics to recover from an ankle sprain. More severe ankle sprains are going to take a little bit longer. And that's the hard part with what we do, just trying to reiterate to our patients, like, hey, it's not going to be as fast as you want it to be, but, explaining to them up front that this is what you can expect and this is the progression we're going to take, educating the patients. We can't say that enough about, how important it is to educate our patients, because getting them to understand where we are, how we get to where we want to be, and what the ultimate outcome is going to be is, most of what we do in physical therapy.
He's Dr. Josh Makin. We appreciate him joining us for today's edition of the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. Of course, don't forget Ivy Rehab with over 18 locations around South Jersey offering best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. And I know it's great because they are my physical therapists here. Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Josh Makin, appreciate you jumping on the show today.
Thanks, Josh. Really happy to be here, and I'm glad you're doing well as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Hey, don't forget about Prevail Nutrition. You have a great opportunity right now. If you have been thinking about, hey, I want to sign up for Prevail, I want to get the meals, I want to eat a little healthier, or I want the convenience of the meals in my hand. Well, my friend Ashley at Prevail Nutrition is going to hook you up. Everyone listening to the sound of my voice here on 97.3 ESPN. Here's the deal. You can save 20% off your first order. Maybe you're someone who says, oh man, I've been wanting to do it. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't done it. Save 20% off your first order right now. Go to prevailnutrition.club. Use code Prevail First at checkout to save 20% off your first order. That's right. You can save money on your very first order. You do it right now. You get the food delivered on Monday. So if you order today, you get the food on Monday. PrevailNutrition.club. 20% off your first order. Just type in Prevail First. That's Prevail First. The number one ST. So Prevail First when you check out. 20% off your first order. Find out why people like me have been using Prevail Nutrition to simplify my life. Make things easier. Have the meal. Get ready to go. You don't have to make the food every single week. Let Prevail Nutrition make your life easier. They do it for me. They can do it for you as well. At prevailnutrition.club, code PREVAIL1ST at checkout, 20% off your first order for new customers. More Hanging with Hennig. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Alex Barnes will join me on the other side. 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
Lanier in transition, hits the three, and a sign of life from Knoxville.
6 on the clock. Now with 5, he drives on Maddox. Right elbow and 3, spins to the foul line. Jumper up, and it rattles in at the buzzer.
Don't miss any of this year's action on the road to the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments.
Listen to the NCAA tournament tonight, the Elite 8 on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 6 p.m.
Brought to you by the New Jersey Lottery's Millionaire for Life.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Ahoy, matey! Is that a new phone? Aye, Captain, that's me new Samsung Galaxy S25 FE.
You must have paid a pretty doubloon for that.
Nay, 'twas zero down from Cricket Wireless.
So, you plundered it.
Nay, again, 'tis a monthly payment plan with bread pay.
You're shivering me timbers.
I shiver you not. Me first payment is next month.
Aye, that's not a plunder. That's a steal.
Get a new Samsung Galaxy S25 FE for $0 down when you pay over time with bread pay. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Subject to approval of credit application. Bread pay loans are made by Commodity Capital Bank and Bread Financial Company.
Winter storms can change the road in an instant. When the unexpected happens, you want the area's top-of-mind high-end collision specialist. Moppert Brothers in Northfield is trusted to restore luxury and performance vehicles to exact factory specifications. Manufacturer certified by Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Ford, Tesla, and Polestar, their team uses advanced equipment and precision craftsmanship to protect your investment. After the storm, choose the name drivers have trusted for decades. Moppert Brothers of Northfield.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here and Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, coming up 2 Saturdays from now, we'll be live at Whaletail Brewing Company. We will be there for the Phillies 1 o'clock game versus the Diamondbacks, as well as the Masters is that weekend. So come on down, hang out with Hennig at Whaletail Brewing Company, have a couple brews, have some good food, and watch the Phillies game. Come down, watch the Masters. We're going to have a whole afternoon down there. Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Hope to see everyone down there 2 weeks from today. Alex Barr is joining me here in the 97.3 ESPN studios. And, we will be getting more into the Phillies coming up with Matt Gelb at 2 o'clock here on 97.3 ESPN from The Athletic. But I did want to pivot over to the other teams in Philadelphia, Alex, because, this month has been very interesting for anyone who has paid attention to the Flyers and the Sixers, because both of those teams found a way to win games this month in ways that no one expected. No one expected the Flyers to win on all those games on that West Coast trip. No one expected the Sixers to go 13-12 during the month without Joel Embiid and Paul George. So I think that for us being here on March 28th with both the Flyers and the Sixers in a position to be in, the Sixers are more likely to make the postseason than the Flyers are, but for them to both stay above water for the month of March has actually been bizarrely impressive, right?
It really has. More so for the Sixers, just because, like you said, Paul George gets the 25-game sussy. Embiid's always got his situation going on. Tyrese Maxey, he's out for a long period of time. We got Kelly Oubre missing time. Trade Jared McCain away. It's a laundry list of things that the Sixers have had to deal with. And there they are. Their guys are coming back. Kelly Oubre's coming back. So, got to wait for Tyrese Maxey. But dare I say, am I high on the Sixers going into this postseason? Not saying they're going to win the whole thing, but I could see a second round, maybe an Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
Well, styles make fights. If they get the right team in the first round, they can definitely win.
Nick keeps saying he wants to see the New York Knicks. I don't know if I want to see the Knicks in a 7-game series, but
what scares you about the Knicks?
I just think Brunson has had our number, and I feel like he's just the kind of guy who can just take over. For some reason. He doesn't look like that good of a ball player, but for some reason he is. It doesn't make any sense. I think I do like Embiid over Cat when Embiid is healthy. And then I do like VJ over anybody they have, but for some reason Jalen Brunson is just like a thorn in the side of just Philly fans.
I hear what you're saying. I just think the Knicks are not as good as they used to be. And I think that their lack of depth is going to bite them long term. I think that's why maybe someone like a Nick Earnshaw looks at the Knicks and says, yeah, we could take them. I think Nick just also irrationally hates New York more than almost any other Philly sport. I have never met a Philly sports fan who hates the New York teams more than Nick Earnshaw.
Yeah, I'm kind of, other than the Mets and now the Knicks, I'm kind of indifferent to them. Like the Giants, I think of the Giants once they get good, because I do see the Giants on the come up. I think, that hatred will go back there.
See, for me, I want some of the New York teams to be good because it gets it better for the rivalry.
Yeah.
I want Eagles-Giants to mean something. So I don't hate the Giants with some irrational passion. Nobody cares about the Jets, so we can just put them to the side, right? The Mets, the Mets are weird because it's you want to hate the Mets, but you also want the Mets to be good enough that when you play them, it doesn't feel just running them over, right? You want the Mets to be bad when you're bad, and if the Mets are good, you want to be good too. That makes sense?
Yeah, it's interesting because, I agree with what you're saying. It's just funny. Now I'm at the point where it's I hope all bad things happen to the Mets. I am a very much hater of the New York Mets, but it's true. The second they get bad, I'm I kind of liked, at least the Braves stepped in for a while there. The Braves have kind of taken a back door.
Yeah, but the Braves are different because they're all the way in Atlanta.
Yeah, and they've kind of taken a back door with all their injury history from
that was
last
also
year
a very
and this year.
That was also a very 90s thing. It was you're not old enough, but I remember in the 90s, it was
what was it, 14 straight appearances they had?
Oh, it was ridiculous. They won the division every single year for 14, 15 years, and it was just here we go again. The Braves won the division, whatever. It was it just killed a vibe. So there was no real rivalry there half the time. And then when you go to other sports, basketball, the Knicks haven't been like legitimately good consistently for so long that you're just kind of like, the Knicks. All right, they're actually doing something.
Like, I don't know if I hate the Celtics or if I hate the Knicks. Like, I'm a Jason Tatum hater. I'll be the first to say that. I just think he's corny. But I don't know if I hate the Celtics more or I hate the Knicks more.
So for Jason Tatum, I'm more tired of his kid than him.
Deuce.
I'm so over the kid. Like, these athletes who turn like their kids into these like mini celebrities, like, and maybe it's just like I am not a parent, but I feel there's almost like a borderline like child exploitative element to it, where it's like my child is a celebrity now.
You didn't like the whole Steph Curry back in like 2015 or 2016 when they first won the finals when he had his daughter.
Yeah, but I haven't seen her again. You know what I mean? Like, that was like cute in the moment, but like Deuce is now like a mini celebrity online. You know what I mean? Or like, Castellanos' kid. Everybody brings Castellanos' kid up every time. Castellanos have a hitting slump, right? It's like anytime the kid becomes a celebrity, it just makes me cringe because it's like, can we let kids be kids? Like, why do we need them to become like a thing?
I just like watching the videos where it's Jason Tatum just copying completely what other greats like have done. I saw people trying to do that with Jalen Hurts when he won the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts just has that aura about him where anything he does is cool. I'm in that boat. Maybe
Jalen also is just a bit obtuse, so I don't think Jalen is ever like, I am going to do this because John Elway did it. Like, I think Jalen's just doing Jalen's thing.
I remember like all the photos of him smoking the cigar, like holding the trophy, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's so corny." He knew the camera. It's like, no, Jalen doesn't care if there's 100 cameras on him or if it's just him in an empty room by himself. He doesn't care. Tatum, on the other hand, this guy feeds for the camera. He's out there paying guys, I bet you, to get cameras out there. Well, did you make sure I got that clip? Yeah, no. Relax, Jason. You're a great ball player. Not saying that. Sixers could have had you. I didn't even want you. But I'm just such a hater of Jason Tatum.
The hockey thing, what is your take on the Flyers and the Rangers situation? Because
they've just kicked our butts for like my entire childhood growing up. I went to a game with one of my buddies 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Rangers Flyers, and it was 60-40, 70-30 Rangers fans to Flyers fans getting let's go Rangers chants. It was so embarrassing.
But that's the fans.
Yeah, but it was because...
Like, for example, I've had some bad experiences personally with Met fans. They're the only New York fan that I've had bad experiences with. Like, to me, the difference between hating the fans and hating the team. You know what I mean?
No, I was just making that point more so they've just dominated us for so long in every asset. I will say, Citi Field is probably top 2 favorite ballpark of mine that I've been to. I think it's a very pretty, beautiful, nice ballpark to go to. But
let's put it out to everybody on listening on the text board. 609-403-0977. I'll put up a poll question as well. Which of the Philadelphia-New York rivalries gets your juices going the most? Is it Eagles-Giants, Flyers-Rangers, Sixers-Knicks, Phillies-Mets? Like, which of the 4 gets your juices going the most?
See, I think I have to go Phillies. I despise the Mets. The Bo Bichette thing really doesn't help. I crumbled when I found out the news, when I saw the Jeff Passan report. I want the downfall of the Mets to happen very badly. But the Mets are going to Met, so it's going to happen anyway.
Before the Bo Bichette.
Yes, it was still
still the Mets.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what made that very
interesting.
Hard.
See, I'm kind of waffling back and forth between the Mets and the Rangers. I'm kind of like, to me, it's one of those two. Because, like I said, every Giant fan I've ever met has been like a good person, so like I can't like hate them too much.
And then Jets fans, I just feel sorry for.
I feel bad for Jets fans. Like someone needs to get rid of their owner and give them a new owner. Like is Mark Cuban available? Like goodness sake.
The hockey thing though, I don't think I can hate the Rangers more than I hate the Mets because I hate the Penguins more than I hate the Rangers. So if they're not my number one hated team in that sport, I can't put them against the Mets.
So you're in that category. You're one of those who hates the Penguins more than anything.
Yes.
All right. We'll get into this more coming up on the other side. Josh Hennig, Alex Bard is hanging in with you. 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank Seattle. Coming out the other side, we'll get back to the Phillies. Matt Gelb from The Athletic will join us. We'll get deeper into Phillies opening weekend against the Rangers. By the way, no Jacob deGrom today. He's got a stiff neck. Sounds like an excuse. More Hanging with Hennig next.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
It's Sixers Hornets tonight on Rock 104.1 with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Here's another shot by George, and that's good. Oh, man. Billy D, timeout Chicago, and the Sixers bench is hopping with joy.
It's Sixers basketball. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. on South Jersey's classic rock station.
He throws it into the lane. No look down to Barlow, and another play. The Sixers are clicking on all cylinders.
Rock 104.1.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/beat. That's ethos.com/beat. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Tired of the runaround? Then drive over to Bridgeton Auto Mall, where the savings this month are a slam dunk. We've slashed prices on our massive selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Whether you need an SUV for the family, a fuel-efficient sedan, or a truck for the job, we've got the perfect deal to help you win big. And our award-winning service department is here for all oil changes, tire rotations, even major repairs. Don't miss your shot. Bridgeton Auto Mall on Pearl Street in Bridgeton, or online at drivebam.com.
You've seen him on the roast of Tom Brady, and you've heard him on the #1 podcast in the world, Kill Tony. Now, see Tony Hinchcliffe. Friday, April 24th, Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort. The man behind countless sold-out shows and millions of views worldwide comes your way. Tony Hinchcliffe. Critics call him a must-see. This stand-up comedian, writer, podcast host, and professional wordsmith is coming. Don't miss Tony Hinchcliffe. Friday, April 24th, Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at theoceanac.com.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 3, Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. We're going to get back to the Phillies now. Check out back on the text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Phillies back in action today. Aaron Nola takes the mound, but no Jacob deGrom for the Rangers. That's some of the big news items coming into this day. To get more into the Phillies opening weekend, Matt Gelb from The Athletic joins us here on 97.3 ESPN. Matt, welcome in. How you doing today?
Cold, very cold.
Yeah, well, it's definitely, this is probably part where people will say you should start the season later or start the season in a warmer weather climate, right? It's like, why are we playing a game on March 28th and it's like 40 degrees outside?
I don't know. I mean, we got spoiled on opening day. It was 76 at first pitch, and it was probably the nicest opener that they'll ever have here. And it's going to be, I think, about 46, and the wind is blowing in today, so not great. But honestly, their first road trip also not great. They go to Denver and San Francisco, and the weather for that trip is also not looking great.
So let's get to the state of the Phillies after game one, because I think a lot of people walked away from the first game, Matt. They love what they saw from Sanchez, Schwarber, Bohm. But the fans they want to focus on the negative. Harper didn't do this. We heard about Kyle Backus for like a month on social media reels, and he let up that big homer to Jake Berger. So what is a realistic overview of who the Phillies are at the start of this season?
Well, I mean, I think it's a really good team. And I love that, there was something for people to be able to complain about there in the ninth inning. And, I kind of get why they weren't going to use, their top guys when you're ahead 5-0. But John Drawn ends up getting a save in that game. And, Backus at best is like, the seventh or eighth guy in the bullpen, which, can't be perfect. I mean, it was one game. And I mean, I think the overview is that, this team is going to be, the pitching is going to be what I think could drive this team. And I mean, you start stacking their starting rotation against the rest of the contenders in the league. And it's hard to be with Phillies have. I mean, especially when you see Zach Wheeler, getting closer and closer to return. He's going to pitch for AAA Lehigh Valley later today. But when you're talking about Sanchez and Luzardo and Wheeler at the top of the rotation, it's hard to match that, I think, anywhere across the league. It really is.
We'll get to the Zach Wheeler thing in just a bit, but you just mentioned about the situation with, this is a really good ball club. A lot of people in the national media, they look at the Phillies, Matt, as a team that could be a threat to the Dodgers. Do you think the Phillies did enough this offseason to be a threat, or should we look to maybe when we get to July that Dave Dombrowski is going to reload even more to be a threat to the Dodgers? Because I think that's the big question nationally is who is going to stop the three-peat?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look at their offseason and both be satisfied and a little underwhelmed. I mean, obviously they had bigger ideas. They had bigger possible changes in mind. I mean, they were quite close to signing Bo Bichette, which would have, sort of really remade their entire infield because they would have had some other decisions to make. They would not have brought back JT Realmuto behind the plate. So, I understand that there was some frustration about their offseason, but I think once you get to the start of the season, you saw some of the injuries across the league in spring training, and the Phillies came out, relatively unscathed from the spring. You start looking at the roster, 1 through, you take the 15 or 16 best players on every roster in the National League, and you're like, okay, could they have upgraded this spot? Sure. Could they have upgraded that spot? Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it's a really talented roster, and certainly that it depends. It's going to rely upon, certain guys taking steps forward, and we'll see what kind of year Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter have as rookies. But you're looking at like Bryson Stott or Adolis Garcia. Like, can those guys, be guys who hit fifth or sixth and be productive players in this lineup? And I don't think that's like a crazy thought right now. Come July, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably be looking for an outfielder. I think they hope they're not looking for a starting pitcher. They probably hope they're not looking for a reliever. I do think that the Brad Keller acquisition probably gets overlooked at times. He was one of the best relievers in the National League for about 3 months to end last season. And he's not the closer here. I think he's in a pretty good role here. And I do think that as they get into the season, people are going to realize that this was a pretty big addition by them.
Matt Gelb from The Athletic joins us here for a few minutes here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Phillies back in action today at 4 o'clock. Nola takes the mound. You mentioned about Zach Wheeler a couple of times. He is having the rehab start today. From what I understand, Matt, the expectation is he is going to have a couple of these rehab starts. He's going to ramp up, and then he'll be joining a team later this month. Do you think when he returns that he is going to be, hey, Zach Wheeler, go out there, give us 7 innings? Or do you think there might be a situation where, they still keep ramping him up even when he does return, then maybe we're going to see a little more of Zach Wheeler 5 innings than Zach Wheeler 7 innings when he returns?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they're a little more cautious when he does return. He's pitching 3 innings and 45-ish pitches for Lehigh today. He's going to make another start at AAA next Friday. They're in Durham, North Carolina. He'll probably get up, to 4 innings and 60 pitches in that start, and then he'll make a start after that for AA Reading the week following that. And he'll probably get up to 5 innings, 80-ish, 75-ish pitches, and maybe he comes back after that. And yeah, sure, you might not see him going full bore, but they don't do that with all their pitchers. Chris Sanchez could have easily gone out for the 7th inning on opening day. He was at high 80s pitches, and this is not just the Phillies. You see teams really manage their starting pitchers so differently in March and April, with the bigger season in mind. And I understand that, especially when you've got Zach Wheeler coming off of a pretty significant injury. I would not be surprised if they're a little more cautious with him or conservative with him to start. But again, just the fact that this is in play now, that this guy could get back before May 1st, sometime middle of April. And we'll see what he looks like when he gets back. I'm really curious to see, some of what some of the numbers look like at Lehigh Valley later today, some of the velocities. Basically, it's his second spring start, and it's 40 degrees up there, so there's only so much you can read into it. But his progression has been, just incredible. I think they're really optimistic about where this guy's at right now.
Matt, before we let you go, you mentioned Justin Crawford earlier. I got to ask you about him because this is starting to feel more and more like this young man is everything he was advertised to be and more. He's got the professional attitude, the mentality. He's got a great character and personality. I think by the end of the year, for all the hype about Andrew Painter coming into this year, to me, by the end of the year, I think Crawford is going to be a fan favorite, Matt.
I wouldn't surprise me. I think, look, he's had a really good first game. And yes, I think the idea of Crawford is that he's something new, he's something fun, he's something different, he is something exciting, and I think that's for a fan base that's wanted some change. I think he could be somebody that really does become a fan favorite. But I also think that he's going to have his ups and downs. And it's also why he's batting ninth. They don't need him to be a hugely above average offensive player for them. I think they need him to be a really steady center fielder, and then do some things at the bottom of the lineup, try to create some havoc by putting the ball in play, stealing some bags, using that athleticism and that skill set that he has. And he is freakishly athletic. He's going to be fun. But I think, we'll see. This is going to be, the better pitching he faces, there's going to be some real challenges. And I think I can't wait to see how it goes. Because you mentioned it. He is exciting. He's a really exciting player.
He's Matt Gelb. Check out all of his Phillies coverage over at The Athletic. Be like me, be a subscriber to The Athletic for all of your Philadelphia sports coverage. Matt, appreciate carving out some minutes for us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Josh Hennig back here in the 97.3 ESPN Studios, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, don't forget, Hang with Hennig being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app offering you Caesars rewards. All the action is on fire right now on the court and on the field. And there's no better time to bet like a Caesar because you can earn perks with every bet on every game. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app, use my promo code RADIO, DYW, and place your first bet with Caesars Sportsbook for $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. Rule your play with Caesars Sportsbook. Open to new users in New Jersey are 21 or older. Max bet $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional in winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost. Tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promo for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alex Bard is joining me here in the 97.3 ESPN studio. Alex, I think what was interesting he said about the Crawford thing at the end there is about the fact that, that this is a young man who, hey, like I said, maybe he is going to surprise some people. I think the problem in Philadelphia, Alex, is telling people you have a slapstick hitter that's going to hit about 290 is not going to excite anybody. But at the end of the day, you can argue it having anyone better in the outfield compared to last year is an improvement, right?
Absolutely. And also, yeah, it's not the 40 home run kind of guy that, is going to light the world on fire, but Phillies have just needed base hits as we get into the postseason. The 22 year, they led the whole playoffs, in solo home runs. Maybe if they got a few more base runners on base, they could drive up more runs and actually maybe win the World Series.
Which is actually kind of funny because during the regular season, they were 5th in the National League in runs scored. So it's like, it's not like the offense is bad. We just need more of them in the postseason.
Yeah, and I think a good point he made too was that he's a rookie. We can't have these 300 batting average expectations. Now, if he does that, fantastic. But he's a rookie. He is a young kid out there who's just kind of taking this all in right now.
Yep.
First pitch of his MLB career, he gets a base hit. What more could you ask for? And if they want to keep him at the bottom of the order instead of a guy like Bryson Stott, who I actually think was, kind of thriving down there last season, he can get on base for you, line up, turns over, and then you get the big boys coming up. Hopefully they do their job and drive him in. I think that's what my whole premise for the Phillies this year. Schwarber's going to get you his. I don't think he's going to hit what he hit last year, but if he can get you 40 home runs, that's a great year. Trey Turner, he does his thing. He's batting around 290, 300. If he's doing that again, that's great. Bryce Harper, if he's batting 270, getting you 25 homers, that's great. We need the Bohms, the Garcias now, Brandon Marsh to stay hot like how he did to end last year. Justin Crawford coming, Bryson Stott. It's the supporting cast that needs to show up and help out the stars and take some of the pressure off of the big stars.
Yeah, I think that's very important what you just said, which is you know what you're getting from Turner and Schwarber. It's about the other guys doing something. And let's be realistic. JT Realmuto, they overpaid for him to come back. I'm not expecting anything.
I didn't even name him in that group.
But that's why to me it's like Crawford is so important. You need somebody, as you said. Can you just get on base? So we have less solo home runs,
And he's got great speed too. So if Turner, Turner can hit home runs, but I wouldn't say that's Turner's.
No, but if Crawford gets on base, right? Let's say he gets a single, steals second base while Turner's at bat. Turner hits a little line drive to right field. He scores from second base.
Exactly. Small ball.
Manufacture, And I think that's the value, right? The value of what the Phillies can do now is you have more opportunities to manufacture. And we all know this lineup is going to change a little bit throughout the year. It's not going to continue to be exactly what it is now. I think that Crawford is one of the 3 most important hitters the Phillies need to step up this year in order to sustain a run, not just in the regular season, but the postseason. Because to me, it's Crawford, it's Bohm, and it's Garcia. If those 3 guys give you something good all year long, it's going to put less pressure on the Turner, Schwarber, Harper trio.
Exactly, because if Alec Bohm can go back to being the doubles machine that he was, not last year, but the year before, and you got base runners on now with a guy like Justin Crawford, more RBIs for Bohm, more runs for the team, more wins for the team. I think it has to be more of a supporting cast type of season for the Phillies to be successful this year. I remember on the Sports Bash, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, there was a poll put up. Who are you more excited for this year, Painter or Crawford? I was in the Crawford boat because of everything I kind of said earlier in today's show. I know we're fine pitching-wise. I know that's the spot where I don't have to worry as much. The hitting and the offense is where I have to worry because they've failed us so many times beforehand. Justin Crawford, he's that new pop. He's the new flavor of the month kind of guy. And I'm very excited to see what, maybe he brings that young juice, the whole daycare back into the clubhouse. Get a little bit of youth in there. Like, I don't know. Just some sort of juice that can hopefully just get this team over the top.
Text board is open at 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig, Alex Bardis hanging out with you here. We'll get to your text a little bit later. I think you just mentioned about, the locker room. Is it possible that maybe just having Nick Castellanos not here, it's just going to be a better vibe all year? Maybe you don't need Garrett Stubb to run around and make everybody happy because now you're not miserable all the time.
I would say, but they're getting typos on this whole new revamped locker room. They got typos on what year Bryce Harper's winning MVP. Like what? And then we got the whole Harry Kalas situation. Like Phillies, what is going on as an organization here? I thought we were one of the more premier organizations, not even in baseball, just in sports. Now we got. This isn't Phillies, but Alec Boehm's got lawsuits going on.
Well, that's not their fault.
Yeah, that's not, but it's, all under the same umbrella here for the sake of my argument. Typos on the paintings in the locker room. We got Harry Kalas, Harry the K's is out, over 20 grand. We're making problems here. Like, come on, what are we doing, Philly?
It is a little weird, and it kind of goes to a comment that somebody else made on the text board during Billy Schweim in the locker room, 10 a.m. to noon here on 97.3 ESPN. I saw someone texting, there's always drama in Philadelphia, right? There's always something going on. It's like, can we just not have drama and just enjoy the game?
That can't happen. It's just because then we're out of a job, Josh. That's what that means. No drama means we got nothing.
No,
we got nothing. We got nothing. No. We do have stuff. But
there's always something.
There's always something to talk about.
It just doesn't have to be Harry the K.
I do think it's blown out of proportion. The whole realistically, I'm going to Phillies games this year, and it being the ghost energy section now, that has nothing to do with my experience at a game. It was a good feeling being like, all right, Harry Kalas, grew up on him. He was a staple for Philadelphia. It was nice to have him have his thing, but. It just might be a bad look with how it's escalated.
It's the way they handled it, to me, is the problem.
Yeah.
To me, it's not specifically Harry Kalas. It's how they handled it was the problem. I think that, it's like the whole thing with the clock, right? That thing, too. It's not that you're doing these things around the ballpark. It's the fact of how you're doing it. The how is why it matters. There's a way to do this stuff. There's a way to still honor the past while moving into the future. You don't have to do it in this, in the middle of the night, things changed. And now it's new and different. When that is important to act like the past didn't happen? When someone doesn't want to pay you for stadium rights anymore and you change the stadium name. And in the middle of the night, you take the sign down. That's when you do it in the middle of the night. You don't do it to Harry Kalas. It's just such a weird way of going about it.
And 2 days literally before the season starts.
Right. If you would have done it in December and January, right? If it was oh, and by the way, Friday afternoon news dump.
Everyone would have forgotten about it. And then people would have went to the ballpark and been like, oh, yeah, that thing's different now. But
right.
No, literally the day before opening day, you make that change. Everyone's going there being like, oh, there it is.
I got a little Phillies news for you, by the way.
Good or bad?
Well, I'm going to let you decide.
All right.
So, Zach Wheeler is making a start at AAA Lehigh Valley today. He is scheduled to pitch 3 to 4 innings. Scheduled to come right in after him, whenever he's done, is Orion Kerkering. So your schedule for Phillies AAA is Zach Wheeler 3 to 4 innings, Orion Kerkering coming in for 1 to 2 innings right after him.
Imagine being those batters.
Oh, you got to be miserable right now.
You're trying to make it a good impression to start the year off, and you got, all right, Zach Wheeler's on the bump, and then Orion Kerkering. For Wheels, I'm happy just because it seems like we're in striking distance of him coming back. Kerkering, I think we can live with him not being around as much, but for Wheels, especially because of how like uncertain a blood clot kind of can be with just not even baseball, just life in general. It's good to see that. And yeah, if he's already getting 3 to 4 innings, now look, he goes out there, shut out. We're back to Zach Wheeler. That's even an even bigger plus there.
Yeah, I would just say that what I think is interesting with the Wheeler situation is you're right. You know, it was way more than just he has an injury. You know, there's the blood clot, and then the blood clot caused other issues. And the rib thing is funny, though. You see what they're doing at AAA today?
What are they doing?
Oh, well, they're having a spare rib special.
That's what AAA's for, though.
But, like, yeah, I love it. Like, it's like somebody sat down, it's like, hey, Zach Wheeler's starting today. What if we have a discount on selling a bunch of spare ribs?
I hope Zach's in on it because he kind of just seems like a guy who's just straight business. I would love to see him, like, feed into that a little bit.
He probably will. But he's also not like Mr. Fun. Like
that's what I'm saying. He seems more business
so
than anything.
serious.
Yeah.
You know, he's like Zach Wheeler is standing there doing an interview. You're waiting for like, you know, Heath Ledger's Joker to walk over and be like, why so serious?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the 97.3 ESPN Studios, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig being brought to you by my guy Dave Klemick and Klemick Performance Method, moving their new location over there in Summers Point starting next month. Everything Klemick Performance Method has to offer will be available over in Summers Point. Brand new facility. I got a little tour of it this week. It is going to be amazing. The lighting, the space, just everything that Dave Klemick has been offering here in South Jersey with the Performance Method KPM is going to be next level in Summers Point. I can't wait for everybody to be able to start seeing it next month in Summers Point, right there on Route 9 across the street from AutoZone. More Phillies talk coming up on the other side. Plus, our poll question is up at 973 ESPN. Which Philly versus New York rivalry is the biggest deal to you? Is it Phillies Mets? Is it Phillies Giants? Is it Eagles Giants, Sixers, Knicks, or is it Flyers Rangers? Vote at 973 ESPN at Josh Hennig on the X platform and text in as well. 609-403-0973.
Lanier in transition hits the three and a sign of life from Knoxville.
6 on the clock. Now with 5, he drives on Maddox. Right elbow and 3. Spins to the foul line. Jumper up and it rattles in at the buzzer.
Don't miss any of this year's action on the road to the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments.
Listen to the NCAA tournament tonight, the Elite 8 on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 6 p.m.
Brought to you by the New Jersey Lottery's Millionaire for Life.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
50 years from now, will jeans be wide or skinny? Will email still exist? Will guac still be extra? One thing is certain. If you won the new Millionaire for Life from the New Jersey Lottery today, you'd still be getting $1 million every year for life. That's enough money to say, bring it on, the future. I will have that guacamole at any price.
Play the new Millionaire for Life today. Anything can happen in Jersey. Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you by my friends over at Prevail Nutrition. Don't forget, I got a great opportunity for you guys. If you've been thinking about getting the Prevail meals, making your life simpler like I do, listen, we're all busy, right? And you don't always have time to make food, prepare food. Hey, or you're like me, you forget to bring food with you to work. I do that a lot, honestly. It's always good to have Prevail Nutrition available. And if you've been thinking about it, but you haven't pulled the trigger, I got a deal for you. Ashley at Prevail has given me the permission to give you this special offer. 20% off your first order. 20% off. Try it. First time. Use code PREVAILFIRST when you check out. For your first meal, PrevailNutrition.club. They deliver to Atlantic and Cumberland counties, plus Ocean City, or you can do pickup in Absecon Mondays and Fridays. Orders over $50 gets you free delivery. So, special promo code, PREVAIL, PREVAIL, PREVAIL FIRST. If you're a first-time customer, 20% off your first order at PrevailNutrition.club. Alex Berardis joining me here in the 97.3 ESPN Studios. As I mentioned, the poll question is up. Which New York rivalry gets you going the most? Which one is the biggest in your crawl? Is it Sixers-Knicks, Phillies-Mets, Eagles-Giants, Flyers-Rangers? The poll question is up at 973 ESPN. And I love this text from Joey D. in Ventnor because he spins it back to us, Alex. He says, if you were to choose a Game 7, are you going Sixers, Flyers, or Phillies? So it's like, Game 7, NBA Finals, Eastern Conference Finals. Flyers, Game 7, Stanley Cup Final. Phillies, Game 7, NLCS or World Series. Which would you choose if you had to choose one?
Well, this isn't a shot, but I can say Sixers for me are last. That I would love for the Sixers to win a championship. For me, that they are the bottom. Then it comes into the Flyers and Phillies, obviously. I think because I am such a hockey guy, and I've always said to myself, the happiest day of my life, seriously, might be if I ever get to watch the Flyers hoist the Stanley Cup. I think I'd have to go with that, because I was 5 when the Phillies won in 2008. So I've technically seen that. I have a memory of watching that. I do think I have to go Flyers, though, for me personally.
So for me, it would be Flyers or Phillies because, and this is going to be perceived as a shot, but from my experience, Sixer fans are not as passionate as Flyers and Phillies fans. The energy in the building is not the same. The Sixers are a happening. It's not a must be in the building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it would have to be Flyers or Phillies. I still got to go Phillies just because of the fact that I've never been to a baseball playoff game, so I would love to be in the building with the crowd just deafening, being in the building when it's like, you have like a 3-2 lead or a 4-2 lead. Duran comes in from the bullpen. Just all the energy of the anticipation of that game. All the buildup of the game, how it plays out, the ebb and flow, the action. The only problem with hockey is that a hockey game 7, I think, is just one of the biggest things in all of sports.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really go wrong with either one. I would just have to go with Phillies because for me, I already can feel the energy of a playoff Phillies game like in my bones right now. The chills, like I'm the hair on my arm is standing up a little bit. Like I got the chills already, so I gotta go Phillies.
I've been to both. I went to the JT Real Muto inside the park home run game.
Okay.
That was to clinch to go to the NLCS. I think it was the best atmosphere I've ever been in. I've been to several whiteout games at Penn State, Eagles playoff. Like, I think for me personally, that was the coolest sporting event I've ever experienced. I've also been to 2 Flyers playoff games. They lost both of them, so I think that might have, kind of deterred something. But yeah, like I remember watching the bubble playoffs, and I was opening puck drop to final horn, literally biting my nails, sweating, every single thing. Like, I seriously think I wouldn't be able to sleep the night before, just as like the players would, if the Flyers were ever in a Game 7 for the Stanley Cup. Like, I don't know if we lost, you wouldn't see me for a week. I would lose 20 pounds, wouldn't shave. Like, I would go into hibernating for at least a week.
Good to know. All right.
Yeah.
I know ahead of time at least.
I'm giving everybody the fair warning.
This is like the most advanced warning in the history of sports. It's like, I'm letting you know if this ever happens.
But like watching your team like win in overtime to win a playoff game. I remember when Scott Lawton scored the overtime. I think it was against the Islanders, I believe, or the Canadiens.
I think it was the Islanders.
The Islanders in the bubble. That was just one of the coolest things I've watched.
Because they beat the Islanders but lost to the Canadiens, right?
Yeah, the Canadiens went to the Cup that year, which was a weird year. It just
that whole thing
itself.
was just,
But I gotta go.
Better
Flyers.
to forget than remember.
Yeah, I gotta go Flyers though.
609-403-0973. More text coming in. George Summers Point chimes in. He says, "Hey guys, I agree. Justin Crawford can be a real fan favorite this year. I think the fans will really get behind someone like him if he plays fairly well because he was not built up to be the next coming of anything before he got to the team, unlike what we heard about Andrew Painter for so long. This will give Crawford more slack with the fans." That's a good point. Painter has been like on this pedestal for so long that like the moment he has a down game, people are going to lose their freaking minds, right? Like, look what happened with Paul Skeens the other day. Paul Skeens had a rough outing for opening day, and people are losing their minds. Like, people were acting like it's the end of the world as we know it. And it's like, no, O'Neal Cruz is an imbecile, should be playing center field. He had a bad day to Paul Skeens. Not the end of the world, but he's Paul Skeens, supposed to be the best pitcher in baseball. That's the problem with Painter. The moment Painter has a bad game this year, people are going to lose their minds. Crawford can go out there, go 1 for 4, and people will still be happy because he catches the ball in center field.
Now, I'm going to make an argument for both guys for saying people are going to say it's the end of the world. Painter, only because he just came off Tommy John. We saw he didn't look great last year. That's why he wasn't one of the September call-ups for the playoffs. So, like, I feel like if he has one of those rough outings, people are going to say that just might be what he is now. Crawford, then it's going to be, well, we've been hearing about you for so long. We obviously needed help in the outfield last year. Why weren't you here last year? Is that more of what you are rather than the 400 hitter we saw in AAA?
I mean, there are going to be people who do that. You are right. But those people are idiots. Because the Crawford wasn't here not because he couldn't come up. He was not here because the Phillies apparently promised Max Kepler playing time.
$10 million.
And a PEDs.
Down the drain.
And PEDs.
Yeah.
PEDs too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, for those who don't know, Max Kepler didn't just get popped for PEDs. He got popped for a PED that's illegal. It's like actually contraband in like 21 countries, including his own home country of Germany.
And he still stunk.
I actually laughed. Someone messaged the other day about the over-under on players who get popped for PEDs this year.
Who is it for the Braves? Who's all 162? Profar?
Profar, yeah.
Like, come, dude. You figured if it happens once, I'm going through heaps and bounds to make sure that what I am taking is okay. Unless you just know you're shady and then get out of the game. Like,
I mean,
yeah. Like the whole Paul George situation. If he does that again, it's like, dude, see ya. We can't have that.
I got to double check, but I don't think he's done a podcast about what he took, did he? I haven't seen it, at least.
I mean, it might have been like a sorry, won't happen again kind of thing.
Well, that's what he did to the media, the other day.
Yeah.
He did the, hey, the my bad kind of thing. I want more information about what Paul George took, because I think there was a lot of mischaracterization about what he took, because he didn't take a drug for like to get bigger, stronger, faster. He took something that apparently he thought was going to help his mental health. And I did see where he explained about how like the anxiety and the stress and the depression of like overcoming injuries and not being able to play like impacted him mentally. So like, I want to know like whatever he took, like was it like a over-the-counter medication? Was it prescribed by a doctor? Did he take the script? Like, for example, so there was, oh my goodness, what was his name? Played for the Colts back in the day. I think it was Robert Mathis was the edge rusher. And he took a supplement to help him and his wife, like, conceive a baby. But it was, like, on the ban list. And he was able to, like, appeal to get, like, the suspension, like, cut in half. Because, like, he actually produced the doctor note. Like, and the doctor came and, like, testified to the NFL. But it was such a weird deal where, like, well, why wouldn't you tell them you're taking this? You know what I mean? And I look at Paul George and I'm like, maybe he didn't think he had to say anything? Like,
it just kind of seems like one of those formalities where unless you're taking Advil or something, just check. One phone call to a team doctor, to somebody in the organization who specializes in that. We could be avoiding all of this. Paul George's situation, I actually think it's going to benefit the Sixers in the long run.
Oh, 100%.
So, like, I don't hate, and especially because they stayed afloat during that time period. But in other cases, like Jose Alvarado last year, that turned out to be detrimental to the Phillies season.
Yeah, the Alvarado thing, I have more. The Alvarado thing to me is more of a negative against him than the Paul George thing against BJ.
Yeah, but it's still in just don't be so stupid.
Right.
That's what it comes down to me. Figure out what you're putting in your body before you do it.
Yeah, I'll never understand it, but I think you're right with the Paul George thing. And people have kind of made fun of it and joked about it. I think, in all seriousness, that him being rested up is going to help them. If they were ever going to make a deep playoff run, right? It's going to be because Paul George and Joel Embiid are going to go into the postseason healthier than ever. I know Rainy HT has texted about this numerous times at 609-403-0970. Ray's whole point has always been that, if they're holding out Joel for the postseason, maybe the Sixers do have a chance to make a real legitimate deep run. And maybe they do. Maybe that's all it took, right? Maybe all it took was Joel to get healthy. I've always compared Embiid to Bill Walton. For those who don't know, Bill Walton, when he came into the NBA, was like one of the most gifted big men of all time. Dribbling, passing, shooting, he could do everything, but he couldn't stay healthy. It was his knees, his back, his feet. Sound familiar? But guess what? The 1 year Walton was healthy, the Blazers won a championship. It's the only championship a team won in their whole franchise history in Portland. But the 1 year he was healthy, he was so amazing in that postseason run, he won Finals MVP, and the next year won the league MVP. So, literally, Embiid can be to the Sixers what Walton was to the Blazers. It'd be like, just give me one run. Give me one healthy run, and we can win a chip.
How many games do the Sixers have left in the regular season?
I think it's 9. Let me double check.
Would you be opposed to him playing one out of every 4 games going down the stretch here?
I would be opposed just because I need his cardio to get up.
It's true. That's the give and take. It's like, what do you find to be more important?
So here's the upcoming schedule. So today they play the Hornets, 6 p.m. You hear the game on our sister station, Rock 104.1. So today it's 6. Monday against the Heat. Wednesday against the Wizards. Friday against the Timberwolves. And then a back-to-back on Saturday. I think that's where they should rest him. Don't play him one of the back-to-backs there.
Well, I think they do that anyway, don't they?
Sometimes not. They're the Sixers.
What about every 3 games? So he gets 3 games in to end the year.
I would like to see him play today, Monday. Maybe you don't play him Wednesday because it's the Wizards. Then play him Friday because it's the Wolves. Sit him against the Pistons. Play him against the Spurs. Play him against the Rockets. Sit him again against the Pacers, and then play in the last game of the year. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I have him playing 6 of the final 9.
It's so sad that's like
it's a conversation.
That's like, is that worth it? Because the 1 year he was our whole team, and he was playing on one leg. I think it was actually against the Knicks, wasn't it? A few years ago when it was just Embiid.
His knee was messed up. His face was messed up. Everything was messed up.
Yeah, so that's why when people say he's soft, I never have bought into that.
You know why people say he's soft? Because those are the kind of people who have privilege. They don't know what it's like to have to suffer and deal with things.
Like, he wants to be out there.
He always wants to be out there.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. That's part of his problem. He's always getting hurt.
If he could win a ring here, that would be the culmination of everything. It really would.
His celebrity would be in another stratosphere.
Yes, I can agree with that. In Philly, he would never have to buy another beer, another sandwich.
Well, he doesn't drink, so maybe it's
another cheesesteak.
Right, another cheesesteak
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, whatever food. People will be buying his kid food.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't buy you a drink, so I'll buy your kid a meal. Here's a steak sandwich. Share it.
I think he would go down as a Mount Rushmore, maybe, Philadelphia athlete.
Well, definitely Sixers.
Yeah.
'Cause I think the consternation right now is, if you were to say who the greatest Sixer is of all time, the big 4 is, Wilt, Barkley, Iverson, but then who's number 4, right? Dr.
Irving.
J, for most people, would say. But then it's like, if you put Embiid, if he wins the championship, who do you take off the Mount Rushmore?
Like Wilt, maybe, because I don't know if mainly he's like a Sixer kind of guy. Like,
but he won a championship with the Sixers.
That was so long ago, though.
Right. So, like, are you saying, like, for some people it might be like they don't care because
I think when you think of Sixers, people go to Dr. J and AI before they go to Wilt.
Right. So it's
definitely Charles. I think
Charles is weird though because he's the only one to win a championship.
Well, Iverson did.
Iverson got there.
Yeah.
Chuck never got there.
Yeah, I think Chuck maybe because I honestly do think when I think of Charles Barkley, I think more of Phoenix than think of Philadelphia.
Those Phoenix teams were one of my favorite teams of all time.
Yeah, so if I'm a fan of the Sixers and I'm imagining him as another team as opposed to my own, I don't know how I can keep him on.
But the Wilt thing is fair because Wilt started with the Warriors, then with the Sixers, then finished with the Lakers. So if you were to tell me that it was if Embiid won a ring, it's Embiid, Iverson, Dr. J, and Charles, I'm not against that.
And like Iverson, he went to Memphis and Denver.
Yeah, but that was way at the end of his career.
And then he came back to Philly. So Iverson is always step over Philadelphia 76er.
Yeah, absolutely. He's Alex Bardis. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea City. Don't forget, if you want somewhere to watch the Sixers at 6 o'clock, while you're watching the Phillies game, which starts at 4 o'clock, while watching the NCAA tournament games, which also start around 6:30, for the Flyers say 8 o'clock, why not go somewhere that's got 30 TVs to watch all the action? You know what that place is? That place is my friends at Hang Time Bar and Grill with appetizer specials during every NCAA tournament game. So, you want to watch the Sixers and the college basketball and the Flyers tonight and the Phillies? Go check out 30 TVs at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Looking for a great happy hour or night out with friends and family? Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway, has live music every Tuesday night, DJ Bingo every Wednesday night, and check out their 30 TVs to watch your favorite team play any time of year. Enjoy all the college basketball tournament action in March with food and drink specials at the main bar, or check out their new private back deck patio. Check out Hang Time Bar and Grill on Facebook and Instagram to learn more about their weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey on the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll.
The power's out!
Here we go again. The Gator XUV. Built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Time for March fun. Fill out your brackets and head to Ventnor Social to catch all the live action of the basketball tournament. Watch every game on 20 big screens. Enjoy game day food specials, wing specials, and cold drafts. While you're there, create your own action and play one of the many video games they have on site in their arcade. Ventnor Social is your basketball headquarters this March. Ventnor Social on Ventnor Avenue. Visit their Facebook page for up-to-date info and specials.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet the tournament action like a Caesar and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets.
Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Who is right? You are an ox and a moron.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Hello? Get back in the room.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
All right, wrapping up Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Just one more time, we'll remind you that we'll be starting the Brew Tour, the South Jersey Brew Tour. So here's how it works, okay? I'm going to be going to some of my favorite breweries around South Jersey. So if you want in on the Brew Tour, just hit me up at Josh Hennig on social media. But, we will be starting with Whaletail Brewing Company. We will be there on April 11th for the Phillies 1 o'clock game. And for the Masters, they have multiple TVs at Whaletail Brewing. So you can come down, hang out, have a couple of drinks, hang out with me, watch the Phillies game, watch the Masters Saturday. We will also be stopping back into Slack Tie Brewing Company along with Gusto Brewing. So I can officially announce we don't have dates for Gusto or Slack Tide yet, but they're going to be on our brew tour. So make sure you come hang out with me. Because, Alex, the whole point of this show was for me to hang out with people.
Quite literally the title of the show.
Right. So we want to be out there. So listen, you want to be a part of what we're doing, just hit me up. But that's the plan right now. We'll be at Whaletail Brewing. You want to come down and hang out? We'll be at Slack Tie Brewing coming up. We'll be at Gusto Brewing coming up as well. All right, Alex, before we wrap it up, let's hit on a couple things here before we get out of here. We've been talking about our question of the day. We've been getting votes for mostly it's just the Phillies and Mets or the Sixers and Knicks. I have gotten almost no votes for the others. Let me double check the poll question right now. Okay, a couple people have come in with a couple others, but the leader in the clubhouse right now is Sixers Knicks. They are at 40%. At 30% is Phillies and Mets. And then the Eagles versus Giants, Flyers versus Rangers rep with the rest of the voting. Did you decide what your vote was going to be?
I just voted, actually. Phillies versus Mets. For me, I hate the Mets, the stinking Mets. And I think the Eagles versus Giants one is low just because of how bad the Giants are. So that kind of takes a dip. Flyers just have been bad, so that's why that takes a dip. And then, yeah, I really do think it comes between these two, the Mets and Phillies and the Sixers and Knicks. I
know Earnshaw would go Sixers Knicks.
He is a open, very hatred towards the Knicks.
Yes.
He's buying the nosebleeds, Nicky nosebleeds. He's going to Madison Square Garden, repping his Phillies or his Sixers merch, trying to, support his fandom there. But to me, I got to go, I hate the Mets more than anything.
On the text board, Joey D. Inventor says, I'm going Phillies versus Mets. I would go Phillies Mets too, just because baseball, the one difference is that when you have a 3-game series, right? Like the idea of Sixers, Knicks, or like Flyers, Rangers, it's like 1 game here, 1 game there, right? Like there's something about a 3-game series, now that I think about it, where it's like you versus them, and you got 3 days of animosity.
It kind of reminds me of like when I was at Penn State and it was Ohio State week. That week leading up to it, all around campus, it's Ohio State week. I think for like when we go to Queens, that like few days leading up to, we're like, all right, it's Mets week. Like we're going to Queens. We got to take 2 out of 3 from them.
And that's why it's weird because, like, you know, for a lot of Eagle fans, they hate the Cowboys so much. It's called Dallas week for a reason.
Exactly.
Like, it's a whole week of you just, like, ramping up your energy for that game.
Screw the Mets. It's my final thoughts on this thought-filled show.
Well, it was good to see you.
It was great seeing you, Josh.
I haven't seen you in a little while. In person, at least, so.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, I've seen you on the stream, you know, doing your board op thing back here in the studio.
That's true. Yeah, that is very true, actually.
So thanks to Alex Berardis for joining me here in the studio. You'll be in with Billy Schweim tomorrow in the locker room, 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. I'll be back with Mike Gill in the Sports Bash on Monday's show. Thanks to Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press, Matt Gelb from The Athletic, also Dr. Josh Makin from Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy. And thanks to all of you for watching on the Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios at Josh Hennig, listening on 97.3 ESPN.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and my intern Aaron Ewing join me in the studio. We will recap the Phillies-Rangers Saturday night action, and we'll go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green, brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City. Hour 2, we'll talk Flyers hockey and Sixers basketball, plus some Eagles news. All that and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Time for March fun. Fill out your